Yo, hallelujah, hallelujah. All praises, glory down to the Most High, the owner, creator, and possessor of all things. Long live his anointed, beloved Son, who's currently sitting at his right hand right now as we speak. Long live the King, long live the King. Your brother Malachi Maccabee, Honor, Humility, STL, House of Zion, Homeschool, Four Tribes, Static, Attic, all of the above, man. All right, so if I can be heard, go ahead and drop a 9. I know y'all was looking for War Ready Wednesdays. I couldn't find nobody to debate the opposite side of Genesis 6, 1-4 being angels, fallen angels. I had a brother lined up that said he wanted to prove Genesis 6, 1-4 was fallen angels. It was another brother said he was willing to prove and lay on the line that the sons of God, Genesis 6, 1-4, who slept with the daughters of men were the sons of Seth. But for some reason, he couldn't make it tonight. So, you know, I might as well come on and go live anyway. So y'all see the title War Against Hellenization. We're going to go into more of the history of the Maccabees leading up into this Feast of Dedication, December the 2nd at evening, all the way through December the 10th at evening. I heard in STL we'll be feasting December the 7th. We'll be feasting all week, but we're getting together December the 7th. You know, we got the Machinist Hall out here. We're going to get her done the best way we can. Feel me? So all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. How y'all doing? Y'all see the title. We're going to get into more history, our history of what went down. Very important history that the short leggers definitely need to know about. Especially during this dark time of the year when it's so-called, you know, Halloween, so-called Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving, so-called Christmas. How beautiful that there is light in the midst of all this darkness, dealing with our Feast of Lights or the Feast of the Dedication. You understand? The dedication of the altar, however you want to call it. You also see that it was also looked at as a second Feast of Tabernacles for us, actually. But that's in the second Maccabees. So for y'all that don't know, the history of the Maccabees is not sequential. Some things you read about in First Maccabees, the first book of the Maccabees, goes into greater detail in Second Maccabees. So we're gonna spend the majority of our time in Second Maccabees today, chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna go back over First Maccabees chapter 1, a few verses in there, and then, you know what I'm saying, paint the scene, lay the foundation, and get it done. So all praises, glory, and honor. I want to thank the Most High for allowing us to come together once again, break bread. It truly is a blessing, you understand? And to really humble ourselves and thank him for allowing us to know the little that we know. Don't none of us know it all. And this ain't none of our knowledge anyway, you understand? We just passing it along. We just passing through. So let me check this comment board real quick. What's up with the family? All praises. We gonna get her done. So again, no War Ready Wednesdays tonight. I had a brother lined up that wanted to get down. The whole debate would have been about the sons of God, Genesis 6. Genesis 6, 1-4. Are the sons of God fallen angels, or are they the sons of Seth? That's another controversial topic in Israel. You feel me? And it's broken down so many different ways. Me, I done heard it. I done heard every angle of it. And I've arrived at my own understanding concerning it as well. But again, y'all, a lot of these, like when we get brothers together from different schools of thought and having them dialogue and all that, that's for y'all. That's for y'all, so y'all can get all the information and then, you understand, come to some type of righteous judgment or understanding. Whatever it is you believe, you should be willing to have it tested. You understand, to make sure that it holds up. Make sure that it holds up when it's scrutinized, when it's cross-examined. It's just like court. You understand? Now, if you've been holding on to a certain belief, but it's never been tested or tried, then how do you know it's the truth? You feel me? And I understand a lot of people get scared and they don't want to, you know, because of belief, you become what you believe. You understand? So a lot of people don't want to come to the realization that what I've been believing is false. You feel me? Because of so much that's been going on over the years and so much you sacrificed and whatnot. But if it's false, it's false. You understand? And no lies are the truth. So it's just what it is. So we do these debates for y'all, so y'all can get together and, you understand, get all the information instead of hearing it from one side or a one-sided platform to where, you know, you'll get shut down instead of, I bet, go ahead, let him get his off. Okay, y'all go ahead and get y'all's off. Okay, cross-examine one another, and then everybody watching and ask questions. That's a true test of character when you can sit in a hot seat and take questions, man. You feel me? Still come out unscathed. But if you just hold on to a belief and it's never been tested, you know better than a Sunday churchgoer, a so-called Christian. You feel me? Or any of our people that are Muslims that find themselves up in a Muslim mosque. Your doctrine has never been scrutinized, tested, cross-examined. So how do you know what you believe in is the truth anyway? Well, that's what all that's about. You understand? You got plenty of scriptures. Scriptures tell you to earnestly contend for the faith that was once given to the saints, the book of Jude, verses 1 through 4, because it's only one chapter. You know, write it down. You dig? Also, always be ready to give an answer to every man that asks with thee. That's 1 Peter 3 and 15. Write it down. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor. Proverbs 25, 8, 9, I believe it is. Write it down. You see what I'm saying? Acts 17, 1 through 3, then verse 17. Paul was going into the synagogues and he was disputing daily. You understand? Debating daily. You dig? With those and proving that Yahushua the Messiah is the Messiah based off the law and the prophets. Feel me? The Messiah, when he was running and had his various dialogues or disputes or debates with the Pharisees. It's the same thing. They was huddling up asking questions. They would cross-examine him. He would ask a question, shut down. You feel me? So that's what that's about, man. You understand? Men used to come from all over the world just to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Back then, that's how people used to get down. They used to see where your mentals was at. And that's all it is, man. It's just to see, okay, well, you've been believing that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put it on the line and see what it is. You feel me? Whatever you believe, you should be willing to have it tested or cross-examined to see if it hold up. And if it don't hold up, then, you know, you either go do some more studying or you let it go. You feel me? Because there is nothing that you can stand on. Right? And that's it. And from that, you can do nothing but get better. That's what that's about. Y'all willing next weekend. I mean, not next weekend, next week, we'll have something else for y'all. But one thing I want to say about these War Ready Wednesdays is really bringing out character. You feel me? And really, like, I'm talking about with me, because I be having to holler at brothers from different zones, different schools of thought, to see who willing to talk about what. And, you know, it's really revealing a lot of, you know, some of these brothers what they're talking about. You feel me? And I'm talking whether you're talking about an assembly or a camp. A lot of these brothers don't believe it. You feel me? Because it's totally different when you got to defend whatever it is on YouTube or social media, Facebook. You understand? Instagram, but when it's face to face and people are looking, that's totally different. That's totally different. Even this is different. It's even more crucial when you actually are in person. You feel me? But when you can't hide behind like a Facebook post, you can't hide behind your thumbs. You got to stand on it and take the questions, and people can go back and play it. And oh man, yeah, that's serious right there. You feel me? So we doing that to get brothers and sisters around the nation to sit down and dialogue. Whole first step in anything, niggas talking about getting together. We got to discuss doctrine for sure. All right, how we gonna do that? Well, let's set some up to where they can come on and be cordial. We'll chop it up and we'll just see where everybody at, man. You understand? I mean, look, humor involved with it too because we Israel, but nonetheless. All right. So we're gonna get into this. Let me check this comment board. So thus far, how everybody doing around this deal? All right, let's get her done. Let's get her done. And you know, again, thank the Most High for allowing us to come together. War against Hellenization. War against Hellenization. All right, we're gonna do second Maccabees for the most part today. I may re-edit or edit the title again. You know, make it sound a little more catchy, whatever. Right here. So Howard Brown, my Jamaican brother, Shalom. Shalom. Honeybee Christopher, Shalom. Shalom. Hear me out. 7. Shalom. Steady love. But now it's Steel City. What up, Shalom. Dawid Yakanan El Shalom. Janae Yatudi. Shalom family. Sect of the Nazarenes is T out of Nashville. That's my Shalom. Irish Stevens. Judah Lord, Tiaji Go Lightly. Shalom. My ATL family. Utensil. All right. I already know we want war. No doubt. It's really bringing out. I believe it's bringing out, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing a lot of different, like, see who really believe what they talking and who wolf. And I got the luxury of seeing that now, like up close and personal, like, woof. Well, it's too hot. Mina J. What up, she Bruce Shalom? Yeah, people don't like testing them beliefs. Wani Wan, Yahweh bless, Ecclesiastes 12:13. Eleazar, what up, Ak? You'll debate about the fallen angel. I know, Ak, but I need somebody on the other side. I know you believe opposite. I need somebody that's going to debate if the sons of God in Genesis 6:1-4 were the sons of Seth. That's what we need. And that would have went down tonight, but the brother that was gonna do it, he said he couldn't do it. Feel me? So that was last minute. So I figured I'd come on and do a class over, go into some more history of the Maccabees and how we were supposed to be at war against Hellenization. Watch out, little baby. Go back there in the back. How we supposed to be at war against Hellenization. Little baby, what are you doing? Now we supposed to be at war with against Hellenization. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's something that we need to be in around this time in this hour, because you see all that, you know, this seductive Christmas music playing. You dig? Thanksgiving dinner smelling all through the air. All this madness going on, man. Black Friday, Christmas Eve, Cyber Monday. We acting like savages, turning into animals. All of the above. You dig? So we need to be, you know, prepped to stand against a rebellious spirit like this, because Greek culture is rebellion against the Almighty. When you're done talking, it's rebellion. Ain't no way to get around it. You know, a lot of our brothers and sisters, before they became conscious of who they are, were dealing with fraternities and sororities. I got them in my family. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to talk to me about the topic, but I mean, it is what it is. But Greek culture was enforced on us thousands of years ago. All right, so the last class we did was going into the power and strong faith, and then Maccabees chapters 1-4. Now we're gonna go into second Maccabees and get more details of what was happening in chapters 1-4. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get it in. All right. I see my Ak Marquise Randall. That's Rantuvia. Shalom. Ak. Blessings to you, elder. How you feeling? Namuna Bat. Yeah. Shalom. Shalom. Kila. Nigga Duell, so no debate. Do out here Deacon Duell, so no debate. Nah, brother, no debate, man. You know what happened? The brother that said he wanted to debate that the sons of God in Genesis 6:1-4 are not angels, but the sons of Seth on the earth because of race mixing. You understand? The brother was saying that he couldn't do it tonight, so no debate. But I decided to come on anyway, man. So let's get her done. Let's get her done. Mikael, look like everybody in the building. Brother Mendez, Shalom. Hear me out. I said that. Shalom, Jew. Shalom. Solomon McFadden, Shalom. What it do? Lutencil, Queen Kaya. What up, Denisha? What you got going? All right, so look, this is what it is. So instead of the debate tonight, we're going to go ahead and get into some history. So war against Hellenization, right? Who know what Hellenization is? I got a definition. All right. I'm gonna look up a Wikipedia and a definition. Give me a second. We're gonna do a little screen share real quick. Application. All right. We going down here for a second. Y'all just cherry for your brother. All right. Organization thing. Get all this out the way. All right. Scroll on up. Go back here. And let's go ahead and get a little screen share pop if we can. Our application window. Dang. All right, now check this out. All right, so what is Hellenization, right? Check this out, fam. It's crazy. All right, so Hellenize simply means, and this is off dictionary.com. Hellenize simply means to make Greek in character. To make Greek in character. You see that? So this is a war against that vibration, that spirit, that mindset, that ideology, to make Greek in character. All right. And this is a war against that. And as we go into the history more, just in case if there's any new listeners, we're gonna go. And y'all hit like, y'all hit share this with your family members that are in fraternities and sororities. They need to know this. Every 4 years they attend what's called a Pan-Hellenic conference anyway. Nobody knows the word hell in this. That should have been a red flag right out the gate. Why is the word hell in Hellenize or Hellenization? Why is that? To make Greek in character. The word hell is there though. It's crazy. All right, verb, Hellenized or Hellenizing. It means to adopt Greek ideas or customs. Y'all see that? To adopt Greek ideas or customs. First recorded in 1605 through 15. Hellenized from the Greek word Hellenizing, to imitate the Greeks, speak Greek. All right. Y'all ever heard of the heifer Helen of Troy, who used to be the Helen of Sparta before she got kidnapped by old boy enough from Troy? But she didn't get kidnapped. She went along with it. But her name is Helen. You may have heard people named Helen growing up. You understand? That's a Greek name. You understand? And to Hellenize just means to make Greek. All right. How ironic the word hell is there, though. Nobody trips off that. All right. So dictionary.com. You also got thesaurus.com. I want to go to Wikipedia, though. Check this Wikipedia out real quick. Check this Wikipedia out real quick. Hellenization. Hellenization. All right, what is all this? Why does this pop up? Get this up off my thing. What is it? All right, cool. And now check this out. Y'all let me know if y'all can see that. Let me know if y'all can see that. This is on Wikipedia. Hellenization. Yeah, Greek-speaking Jews, Hellenists. That's right, 1E1. If y'all got the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, y'all can look up a Hellenist. You understand? Hellenist with a T at the end is going to say Greek-speaking Jews that adopted Greek culture. Now, if any of y'all, unless you've been sleeping under a rock the past 20-odd years, for y'all that don't know, we are who the Bible refers to as Jews or the Hebrews, the Yahudim. That's us. So when you hear about Greek-speaking Jews, this you put it in modern terms, you talking about African Americans, so-called Negroes, that's into Greek culture. Yeah, you Negroes have been Hellenized, man. And the seeds of this rebellion were planted over 2 millenniums ago, before the Messiah Christ was born. All right. So Hellenization. All right. Y'all give me a 9. Is that big enough? Give me a 9 if that's cool. Give me a 9 if that's cool. That should be big enough. Let me go ahead and make it a little bigger just in case. Go ahead and make it a little bigger than a little case. There's your little taste. I got you. All right, that's 150. That's 150%. All right, Hellenization. All right, Hellenization. All right off Wikipedia. Is a Hellenization or Hellenization is the historical spread. Is the historical spread of ancient Greek culture, religion, and to a lesser extent, language over foreign peoples conquered by Greeks are brought into their sphere of influence, particularly during the Hellenistic period from the campaigns of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC. The result of Hellenization was that elements of Greek origin combined in various forms and degrees with local elements. These Greek influences spread from the Mediterranean basin as far east as modern-day Pakistan. Wow. No, Mediterranean, talking about the Mediterranean Sea, you talking about all that? Well, you talking about Israel then. So influences spread from the Mediterranean basin as far east as modern-day Pakistan. In modern times, Hellenization has been associated with the adoption of modern Greek culture and the ethnic and cultural homogenization of Greeks. Man, just, emphasize homo right there, because a lot of that Greek culture is, you understand, sodomite nature. All right, so this right here, Hellenization, has been associated with the adoption of modern Greek culture and the ethnic and cultural homogenization of Greece. All right, so y'all trip off there right there, Hellenization. Hellenization. It's basically saying Greek culture, Greek language, Greek ideology, Greek religion, all that. You understand? In other words, whoever's ruling, who's ever ruling is the main is the main influence in the earth. That's why, and it's wild because even though we supposed to be ruling the earth, even in our wickedness, we influence the earth. Can you imagine when we are all righteous? You imagine when we in that kingdom? You understand? TT Earth, shalom. Shalom, TT Earth. What's the word? All right, background of Hellenization. By the 4th century BC, the process of Hellenization has started in southwestern Anatolia's Lycia, Caria, and Pisidia regions, first century fortifications at Pelum and Galatia. It's a Galatian, the Bible, Galatians. On Basdog and Lycaonia and at Isara are the only known Hellenistic style structures in central and eastern Anatolia. When it was advantageous to do so, places like Sid and Aspendos invented Greek-themed origin myths. An inscription published in SEG shows that in the 4th century BC, Aspendos claimed ties to Argos, similar to Nicorian of Cyprus, who also claimed Argive lineage. Argos was home to the kings of Macedon. Oh, like your boy Alexander, like your boy Haman. The Macedonians go back to the Edomites. I know a lot of y'all don't believe that, but hey, I don't know what to tell you. It's even proven biblical. All right, like the Argeads, the Antigonians claim descent from Hercules, the Seleucids from Apollo, the Ptolemies from Dionysus. Y'all heard this? I trip off this. Alexander the Greek or the Great or the Creep, his friends, right? Whether you're talking about Antigonus, whether you're talking about Seleucid, whether you're talking about Ptolemy, they all claim that they were descendants of the gods, the Greek gods, all right, which ain't nothing but devils. You done talking. Demons. It's demon worship. All right, straight demon worship. Now trip off this. He said someone didn't show up to the battle. No, I say he couldn't make it, man. TT Urs, you know we miss you too. Out the mud, Watchman, Shalom, Aqua's the word. But pirates. Yeah, man, these Greek bastards, man. Hey, but their wicked influence, you understand, still runs rampant today. A Negro and a sister, Negro men and women will fight you tooth and nail to hold on to their Greek ideology. You understand? I mean, I even seen it was a video on Facebook with a whole bunch of niggas. I guess they was Omegas or Q dogs or whatever. They was in their purple. And it was a whole room full of men with their rear ends out. Not a woman in the room. It's just a whole line of men, of Negro men. It's a whole hall full of Negroes, and all of them got their asses out. You understand? This type of influence, man, been going on. You dig? As a spirit that's contrary to the creator of heaven and earth when you're done talking. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but it's truth. All right? The Suthapolus inscription was very influential in modern study of Thrace. The inscription mentions Dionysus, Apollo, and some Samothracian gods. Scholars have interpreted the inscription as evidence of Hellenization in inland Thrace during the early Hellenistic, but this has been challenged by recent scholarship. Hellenization, however, had its limitations. For example, areas of southern Syria that were affected by Greek culture entailed mostly Seleucid urban centers, where Greek was commonly spoken. The countryside, on the other hand, was largely unaffected, with most of its inhabitants speaking Syriac and clinging to their native traditions. Archaeological evidence alone gives only an incomplete picture of Hellenization. It's often not possible to state with certainty whether particular archaeological findings belong to Greeks, Hellenized indigenous peoples, to Greeks, or Hellenized indigenous peoples. Indigenous people who simply own Greek-style objects or some combination of these groups. Yeah, because it's a lack of study if y'all don't understand that the Israelites went off and became Greeks, and in that became uncircumcised. You understand? We're going to hit it today in the Maccabees. We're going to show it was outlawed for us to even claim our culture. You feel me? And for Negroes to hold on that in modern times is very, very sickening. It's very sickening. All right. This right. Thus literary sources are also used to help researchers interpret archaeological findings. So that's what's up. All praise to the Most High. And there's plenty more on there y'all can read. You understand? Which ain't no problem. We're gonna really get into this this tyrant that came out of Alexander's kingdom, out of his homeboy Seleucid. When the friend Seleucid, this guy right here on the screen, Antiochus Epiphanes. We're gonna get into more of his atrocities. We even gonna get into his death. You understand? Because whenever you take on the spirit of outright disrespect of the God of Israel and his people, you understand? You're marked for death at that point. You feel me? And this man who tortured our people died a horrible death. He died a horrible death. You understand? And we ought to remember these things. I mean, America remembers the death of their enemies: Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. Even though we know a lot of this was, a lot of them just work for the CIA. And you understand? We can't even believe the narrative that we heard, but nonetheless, men are dead. You understand? And you celebrate it because you're a good old American patriot. Well, you got to understand this. Us in our Bible, you understand, us being children of the book, children of the promise, we have heroes and patriots as well. You understand? We have forefathers that we are commanded to remember as well. We even have forefathers and foremothers we're commanded to even pray for. You understand? For the sins that they committed. All right? So it's all good. It's all good. Poppy, what's going on, my Hebrew sister? What's the word? Yeah, you ain't lying, boy. Them fraternities is all type of major suspect madness going on. All right, so look right here. That's Antiochus Epiphanes on the screen. All right, first we're gonna go to First Maccabees, the first chapter. Matter of fact, no. For anybody that's new listening, I want to go first. I want to go to John 10th chapter. I want to go to John chapter 10 and 22. And I want to show that the Messiah himself observed this feast right here. It's called the Feast of the Dedication. You know what today is Hanukkah or Chanukah, which is Hebrew for dedicate. All right. Let's go to John 10 real quick. A lot of y'all don't know that the Messiah observed these things. We're going to go to John 10. We're going to start at verse 22. All right. A lot of y'all know that the Messiah himself observed this feast right here. All right. Messiah himself observed this feast we call the dedication. And had not certain historical events happened, he would never have a temple to preach in and to teach in and to debate the Pharisees in. Why you Negroes run around here but heard about us having some type of debates? You dig? We call them all the swordsmen. We call them all the warriors to the table. Pull your swords out. Let's get it. You understand? Let's swing swords. Iron sharpened iron, I thought. And when iron collided, it sparks. But I understand everybody ain't ready to run with the big dogs. So stay on your porch then. Stay on your porch and stay on your sideline and spectate. You understand? We're going to get about our Father's business and get these brothers to sit down from different schools of thought and discuss what? Rap videos? To discuss football? To discuss LeBron and the Lakers? No, to discuss the Bible. What they supposed to be doing. Like the Messiah was doing. All right? So we're going to go right here. John chapter 10. For y'all that don't know, the Mashiach, the Messiah. You know him as Christ in your English Bibles. You understand? He observed and kept the feast of the dedication. This is John chapter 10. All right. I'm going to start at verse 17. And then we're going to read on down. We're going to get into it. All right. What you talking about what, man? John 10 and 17. Therefore, it's red letter. It's red letter. So when you know it's red letter, you at Melchizedec University, man. Slow down and read, because the Messiah is the high priest. He's the king and high priest after the order of Melchizedek, the heavenly mandate or order that we all are up under. You understand? The whole entire earth got to come up under that order. You feel me? I know that's over a lot of brothers' heads. You understand? A lot of Hebrews don't even talk about it. Now, a lot of Hebrews don't even talk about the order of Melchizedek, king of righteousness. He's the king and the priest. That the Messiah is the high priest and king over that order. You understand? So there's a different administration. And this is not to downplay Moses at all. Moses was a great man in the history of the Bible. You understand? But when it come down to him measuring up to Hamashiach, he don't measure up. None of us do. You understand? But he was a very, very great man, a prophet of the Most High, who the Most High used. So it's never to even, you understand? It's never even to sneeze at what he did. And Moses was a revolutionary. You understand? It just so happens that what was prophesied to happen in Psalm 110 and what was foreshadowed to go down in Genesis, the 14th chapter, you understand, has been fulfilled in the Mashiach. You understand? His life, his testimony, his resurrection, his ascension, him being enthroned at the right hand or sitting at the right hand of the Heavenly Father until he get ordered to come back and conquer. It's just what it is, man. You understand? So this is the order that we abundant. So whenever you see red letter, you at Melchizedek University. Take notes. All right, so he said, therefore doth my Father love me, because I laid down my life that I might take it again, talking to a crowd of naysayers. You understand? talking to a crowd of naysayers and believers. But this was never a private matter. And a lot of these things were done in the temple, y'all. Not actually in the sanctuary, but it was a part in the temple called Solomon's Porch. You understand? It was up, like, it's different parts of the temple. Yeah, I get into the courtyard. You understand? The inner courtyard, and then into the sanctuary, then the Holy of Holies. But outside the courtyards, you got different quarters where Israel will meet up every day. All right, so this is where he is at, having this dialogue with what some of you Negroes scared of, debates, right? So he said, therefore doth my Father love me, because I laid down my life that I might take it again. No man taketh it from me. All right, no man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down. Power. The key word is power. True about that. I have power to lay it down. I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. 19. There was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. They were divided, man. You understand? The Messiah was dropping some heavy jewels, dropping bombs, speaking boldly with all authority, speaking about his Father. We all know what Father that is. Let's not play the funnies. All right, speaking about his Father, and this type of boldness and this type of confidence. He's speaking like he's 1,000,000% sure. He's certain. You understand? Mashiach understood who he was to his Father and how special and close he is. You understand? You just haven't realized it yet. Your part in it, because you've been chosen in him before the foundation of the world. You see? All right. So true about this. There was division. There was a division, therefore, among the Jews for these sayings. 20. And many of them said he have a devil. So you're going to get called that in this walk. Understand that. Understand that. You're going to be called a devil. They don't say you have a devil, meaning you're demon possessed and is mad. Why hear ye him? Right? That's part of it. So you can kill the diddly dude neighbor, Ned Flanders. Everybody loves you, spirit. Get that out your mind, man. You understand? When you are really standing up and sacrificing your life for this, man, it's impossible that everybody's going to like you. Somebody's going to have some problem with you and what you got going on and how that came off and what you saying. You feel me? Or some people may just be low-key jealous, envious, or whatever. You're going to have them things, man. People going to say you possessed, you fell off, you lost the light. It said right here, it said he have a devil and he's mad. You know what I'm saying? 21. Others said these are not the words of him that have a devil. Can a devil open the eyes of the blind? Excellent question. Yes, for those that have not been seduced by the Jedi mind tricks. You understand? If you don't believe, you'll just look at the work that's getting done. You understand? It's easy to believe the first speech of somebody that got the gift of gab, but just look at what's getting done. If you can step outside your emotion and see what's actually getting done and the work that's going forth, you understand? Then you could be like those in verse 21 that say, come on, these can't be the words of a devil. Can the devil open the eyes of the blind? But if you caught up in your feelings and going along with everybody else and what they got to say, then guess what? Right? You're going to be a part of the crowd that's calling what? Good evil. Scripture say, woe unto you. You do not want to show up at the judgment with bearing false witness on your jacket. I was trying to let a brother know that earlier. Like, hey, that was a sloppy answer. Sloppy answer. You bearing false witness. You don't want to show up at the throne, the mercy seat, bearing false witness because you assumed something, because you was in a rush to judgment, because you presupposed or thought somebody was thinking something. All right, get that together. And I love you enough to get it together. Tell you to get it together. All right. All right. Verse 22. This is the key right here. For any of y'all that believe or that didn't think that the Messiah even observed his feast right here, right? Verse 22. And it was Jerusalem. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. Do y'all see that? The feast of the dedication, and it was winter. And this was where? At Jerusalem. At Jerusalem. You know what? Let's go look this actual feast of dedication up on there. Let's go look this up. Look the actual definition up. See what we get. That's real quick. That's something I didn't have pulled up. 11 times and 10 verses. That's dedication. I want the New Testament. John 10 and 22. It's right here, right? This is Blue Letter Bible. John 10 and 22. Let's go down to the word dedication. Let's see what we got. Let's see what definition they got for it. All right. Easy work, man. Let's just do the work. Lay aside all these so-called feelings and just do the work, man. All right, G 1456. The Zuriel, what up? Man, I don't know why YouTube be hating, man. They stop sending out all these notifications. All right, dedication, feast of the dedication in Kini A. All right. It's a noodle noun, they saying. Right here. Right here. Outline of biblical usage. It means dedication or consecration. Dedicate, consecrate, right? 8, in particular, the annual feast celebrated 8 days beginning in the 25th of Kislev, middle of our December, or around it, instituted by Judas Maccabeus, 164 BC, in memory of the cleansing of the temple from the pollution of Antiochus Epiphanes. Wow. Wow, I ain't never even looked up that definition. Right there. Shalom, Queen. Yahoo. All right, now trip off that right there. See that? 25th of Kislev, which corresponds around our December. This year is December the 2nd, sundown is December the 10th, sundown. Or evening, should I say, just in case y'all caught up in semantics, all right? And that's what this is about right here. The whole history behind it, and we about to get into it and read some more down here. Dedication, consecration. The second Ezra 6 and 16 through 17, Nehemiah 12, 27. If y'all can read Hebrew, read Hebrew, Nehemiah 12 and 27 right here. It says for, right here, it says Hanukkah, right? But the altar and the temple had to be rededicated after we came out of the Babylonian captivity as well. You understand? And later on we get the Greek. The Greek was under Greek domination, had to do the same thing. But you see the word right here in this red. And Hebrew is read from right to left. That's a ket. Just look at my cursor right here. It's a ket, it's a noon, it's a kaf, and it's a hay. And if you know how to read the diacritic, the marks under here, you understand that's ka, nu, ka. You know what is Hanukkah today. All right. And right down here it says an annual feast celebrated 8 days, beginning on the 25th of Kislev, the middle of our December, instituted by Judas Maccabees. Same thing in the memory of the cleansing of the temple from the pollutions of Antiochus Epiphanes. All right. So anybody want to say, well, Hanukkah sounds Jewish. No, it's Hebrew. It's Hebrew for dedicate or to consecrate. Chanukah. Ket Nun Kaf Hey. Chanukah. Chanukah, you know it is Hanukkah today. All right, so that's just what it is. Chantel Prescott, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, all praises. Questions, I heard something about the desert, a flood in the Arabian desert, first time ever. I heard something about that. All right, so let's get into this, y'all. Let's get into this. We're gonna go to but now let's go back to John. Let's go back to John 10, 22. So now we know that the Feast of the Dedication, even based off the definition, is about the 25th of Kislev, and it's about Judas Maccabees in 164 BC rising up to dedicate the temple after the pollutions of this Greek bastard Antiochus Epiphanes. So we know that the Messiah is at Jerusalem in the temple on the Feast of the Dedication, the very temple that was cleansed from Greek ideology and Greek culture. Now, had not the brothers did that 164 years before he was birthed, he would never been in this temple. Memorizing or bringing into memory the courageous acts that these brothers did, not even 200 years before he was born. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. All right. Right here, it says, and it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of the Dedication. And it was winter. So now y'all know we in the right season because it is wintertime, right? And Yahweh walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. So he's in the temple, right? The very temple that the brothers had to stand up and rededicate and fight over and cleanse. You understand? Because if our center of worship is under attack, then our very existence is under attack. You'll see when the temple go down, we go down. Right? The temple's been scattered and stones overturned, we scattered and overturned. We are one, right? You are the temple of the Almighty. Verse 24. Then came the Jews round about him. And when you read Jews in this particular instance, it's going into like the Pharisees and them, the religious leaders round about him, and said unto him, how long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be Hamashiach, tell us plainly. Right? Yahweh answered them, I told you and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. The works that I do in my Father's authority, in my Father's character, in my Father's reputation. That's what name means, y'all. They bear witness of me. You want to know he was basically saying, if you want to know if I'm Hamashiach, if you want to know that if I am the Christ or not, look at the work. Look at the works that's getting done. You understand? And, you know, big controversial, whatever's going on. Look, if you can get out your feelings, just look at what work is getting done and what fruit is being burned, then you can arrive at a righteous decision. Right? Is it gossiping and slander, or is it, you understand, like sincerely edifying and feeding the Most High's flock? And examine it. Examine it. Don't be biased. Be non-biased about the situation. Right? So he, the Messiah, letting it be known, I told you and you believe not. You don't believe what I say, right? The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life. They shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. Woof. See that? So naturally, when you're speaking with authority and full certainty and bold like that, it's naturally going to rattle the spirit of a naysayer, right? He just told them, I and my Father are one, right? I and my Father on one accord. I and my Father are in harmony. We vibrating at the same frequency, right? And which that was Israel. Israel was supposed to been done did that, man. Israel was supposed to been operating as a messianic nation. In fact, the Messiah here fulfilling prophecy now is a problem. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Which Jews? We're not talking about all of Israel, y'all. We're talking about the religious leaders of our people, right? Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Yahweh Shai answered them, many good works have I showed you from my Father. Which of those works do you stone me? The Jews answered them, saying, for a good work we stone thee not. Right. But for blasphemy, see? Because that thou being a man makest thyself Elohim, or makest thyself God, power, right? Yahweh Shai answered them, is it not written in your law? I said, ye are gods. I said, ye are gods. If he called them gods, unto whom the word of Yahweh came, and the scripture cannot be broken. Ooh, ooh, boy, say ye of him whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest, because I said, I am the Son of Yahweh. If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though ye believe not me, believe the works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me, and I in him. See, so during this feast, the Most High wasn't, or the Messiah wasn't playing the funnies. He's observing the feast, the very feast that none of us grew up doing. None of us even grew up doing. I know nothing about this growing up. Somebody want to add, well, I don't think Jesus kept Hanukkah. Lack of study again. Lack of study again. I would take them to John 10 and 22. What is the Feast of Dedication? Click on the definition. You see that? That's just what it is, man. And you trip. He's in the temple and he's waging war against the unclean ideology of the Pharisees. Can't be up in here talking like that. They trying to stone him, right? He said if he called them gods into whom the word of God came, then the scripture can't be broke. Most High called you powerful. The Most High called you Elohim, God. He called you that in Psalms 82 and 6. Messiah said, well, how am I blaspheming? Because I say I'm the Son of God. Is it not written in the scriptures in your law? I said ye are gods. What you doing trying to stone me for saying I'm the Son of God? When right there it's saying all of you are children of the Most High. Yeah, you are a son of God, right? Mashiach is the son of God, the only begotten, meaning his promised son. All right. So I just wanted to show that real quick about how the Messiah did keep the Feast of Dedication. Don't let nobody tell y'all that. He did observe the Feast of Dedication, and he was waging war in the temple, a spiritual war in the temple. You understand? Against the unclean ideology of the Pharisees. But nonetheless, he still observed the feast. Even in John the 7th chapter, he observed what's called the Feast of Tabernacles. Even though during that feast, the same thing. He stood up in the middle of the feast and got the chin checking spiritually everybody up in that deal. You see? So he observed the feast, right? Still keep it spiritual. But we hear the rap, right? Now, had he been on some, I ain't talking to these niggas. I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all stuck on stupid. No, he kept swinging his sword until they stopped asking them questions. What do you do? What do you do? All right, next we're going to go to First Maccabees 1, right? I'm going to read verse 1, and then I'm going to jump down to verse 10. We already read a lot of this in the last video. Y'all can go check that out. It's no problem, all right? But this is historical, and this is to prove anybody try to tell you the Bible is not historical. They allow their breath stank. You understand? Bible is historical. Why is it we can go and read about Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian? Why is it we can go in here and read about King Nebuchadnezzar? Why is it we can go in here and read about the incident in the Red Sea and then look up Pharaoh's chariot wheels at the bottom of the Red Sea dating back to the 19th dynasty when we left about Egypt? Why? Why? If it's not factual and if it's not any type of archaeological findings behind it, then why is it we got Hezekiah's seal? And why they got that? You understand? Why is it they have David's tomb or David's sepulcher? Like, well, what is all that about? See, a lot of people talk like it's not historical, but they've never been to the land. You feel me? Me, myself, never been either, but I have beloved ones and loved ones in the land that I chop it up with on the regular. Even though when I got my own research and own books to prove there's plenty of archaeology and history backing up the Bible. The Bible is supernatural, it's spiritual, and it's historical. I propose because it's inspired by the owner, creator, and possessor of all things, the Most High. All right, so this right here is First Maccabees 1:1. 1:1, right? And it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim and had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Now trip off that. That's in pursuant to Daniel the 8th chapter, verses 20 through 23. You'll see there was prophecy that Alexander would become the first king over Greece. The Most High was behind the whole war between the Greeks and who you call the Persians and the Medes. The whole 300 movie and all that was orchestrated and dictated in the spirit before it even manifested in the flesh. Alexander was prophesied to do what he did hundreds of years before he was even born. Daniel and Alexander did not live around the same time. They lived hundreds of years apart. All right, so this was prophecy. All right, I'm gonna jump down to verse 10. And there came out of them, this is after Alexander died and his friends part his kingdom. All right, after his friends part his kingdom. All right, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. So we talking about Antiochus Epiphanes now, right? And I showed a picture of him last time. I want to go ahead and bring him back up so y'all can see. All right, Antiochus Epiphanes. We're going to go to more images real quick. Why can we read about Antiochus Epiphanes and then pull him up? He's an actual guy that existed. These are some of his images right there. So y'all can understand what all this is really about. All right, this is historical. All this is tying into the Feast of the Dedication or the dedication of the altar. All right, so these are some pictures of Alexander, not Alexander, but Antiochus Epiphanes right here. See this heathen, you understand? Fish lips. All right, but he was a tyrant. This man was a straight devil to our people, Israel. And that's why today when I see certain Israelites that hold so fastly to Greek culture, to some Hebrews that make brothers angry. You understand? Very angry. Because you realize a lot of the blood that was spilled, you understand, to get this thing to run on automatic. The way it's running on automatic now, man, it's actually sickening. It's actually sickening to see brothers, you know, in they little stepping lines, throwing up their little Greek signs and all that, branded. You dig? It's actually sickening. Because as you know what your forefathers went through, you understand, the brothers that stood up to bang so we wouldn't even be taken over by this wicked, rebellious spirit, man. Feel me? And a lot of y'all claim to be conscious. Well, why wouldn't you honor the memory of your so-called forefathers? You understand? By rebelling against this, even in spirit. Even if you didn't already did something like that, you know, you can repent of that. That's the beautiful thing about the God of Israel. You can always repent. You can always repent. You understand? And come back and live a life dedicated to him. And that's what we want to say to any of our brothers and sisters that may be listening. You understand that may have, before they became aware of the truth, may have been involved in something like this. That don't mean you can't repent and put it down. You understand? And come back to the Most High. But the Most High is not dealing with Greeks. All right? Most High is not dealing with Greeks. Especially if you were Israelite. That means you up under a whole nother covenant. You understand? And regardless if you believe you were Israelite or not, if we are people, if you are a victim of this transatlantic slave trade, if you've been hunted sun up to sun down, you understand? You know that, in other words, you know, if you identify yourself as African American, a black man, any of that, man, look, you are Israelite when you're done talking, based off the prophecies in the Bible. So regardless if you accept it or not, that's who you are. All right? That's who you are. And you under a bloodline covenant regardless if you like it or not. We don't care what you accept and believe. We ain't them Negroes in the church that's going to try to, water this thing down for you. Never. Never. You ain't got to believe. You understand? That's a beautiful thing about the Almighty. It's a beautiful thing about the Almighty. You ain't got to believe what he's talking about for it to be true. It's true anyway. It's true anyway, all right? Well, let's read a little bit about Antiochus just real quick, because we reading about him in 1 Maccabees 1. And he came out of Alexander's split kingdom, the Seleucid dynasty. All right, Seleucid was one of Alexander's boys. I don't know why they keep putting that stuff up right there. This is what I want to show y'all, right? Antiochus fourth Epiphanes, all right? And his name actually means God manifested or God revealed. So this is old boastful heathen here. This old boastful heathen. He took on the title Antiochus Epiphanes. That wasn't even his name. That was his name when he took the throne. All right. So Antiochus Epiphanes, right? 164 BC, was a Hellenistic Greek king. Hellenistic, I wrote that word again. Greek culture, someone that imposed a Greek way of living, was a Hellenistic Greek king of the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC until his death in 164 BC. So he was a king for about 11 years. And he had a horrible death. All right. He was a son of King Antiochus III the Great. His original name was Mithridates. He assumed the name Antiochus after he ascended the throne. Notable events during the reign of Antiochus IV included his near conquest of Egypt, his persecution of the Jews of Judea and Samaria, and the rebellion of the Israelite Maccabees. They say Jewish, but no such thing. All right. Antiochus was the first Seleucid king. Antiochus was the first Seleucid king to use divine epithets on coins, perhaps inspired by the Bactrian Hellenistic kings who had earlier done so, or else building on the ruler cult that his father, Antiochus the Great, had codified within the Seleucid Empire. These epithets included manifest God. Look at this heathen. And after his defeat of Egypt, bringer of victory. However, Antiochus also tried to interact with common people by appearing in public bathhouses. Yeah, okay, heathen. So he was political, in other words, applying for municipal offices, and his often eccentric behavior and capricious actions led some of his contemporaries to call him Epiphany. Epimanes, the mad one, a word play on this title, Epiphany. All right, so let's get back to this right here. All right, y'all see that? So Antiochus Epiphanes is even a historical character. All right. Antiochus Epiphanes is actually an historical character as well. He's a historical character as well. So we showing y'all these things. For people that say the Bible's not historical, that's a lack of study. All right. I trip off this. And there came out of them a wicked root Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, who we all know name means God manifest. So actually we dealing with the Antichrist before he's even revealed in the future. You understand? It's just what's called a shadowing or a foreshadow. All right. And trip off this system is still working. The Greco-Roman Empire, the Roman Empire, if you want to call it that, but the Greeks preceded them. This whole vibration, this whole system, this whole abomination of desolation been set up. You understand? You just waiting on it to be finalized. But you were born into this war. You were born into the abomination that make it desolate. It's a government. It's a system. You understand? That will be finalized once the so-called Antichrist is revealed. You understand? A lot of people don't believe that, but I mean, based off just history, the Most High's judgment is like a ring. He requires what's past. If this happened in the past, it must happen again. It must happen again. All right. So there came out of them a wicked root Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. But since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So they saying, let's go be in league with them. Let's fellowship, in other words. Let's be in league with them, which is a problem because if you a bloodline Israelite, you already under a blood covenant. What you mean go make a covenant? Another covenant. You see? Now we playing the whore. Now we playing the whore. You already have a head. You already have a covering. You already have a husband. It's the Most High. What you doing going to make a covenant with another people and their gods for? You understand? Because fear is a hell of a drug, man. These Greek bastards didn't just come in and start waving. They came in pouring out. You understand? They came out pouring out blood. And they knew that fear is an excellent motivational tool. Fear is the excellent psychological. You can get a lot of so-called true intentions out of somebody if fear is on the table. All right, so many Israelites wanted to be Greeks. That's the whole point. And when you listen, no coincidence that the Negro man today identifies heavily with the Greek culture. Y'all see that? Don't forget the definition of Hellenization is to make Greek culture, Greek language, Greek religion. So when we read verse 11, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Trip off that. Trip off that. So for any of our people that are in fraternities today and in sororities, y'all don't know the origin of this spirit goes back over 2,000 years. Talking about roughly 2,100 years ago, when we had to be forced through fear to sell out and do this. Other brothers stood up and banged against it, right? And that's what we saying. I'm in here in that spirit, the Maccabee. I'm here in that spirit. I wage war against every false way. I wage war against, especially any type of Greek madness. I wage war against that. I'm not in the stores all hush and quiet because it's Christmas time and you understand? Or somebody that said Merry Christmas to me, they gonna get an earful. I wage war against the forces of darkness, and that's how we all supposed to be. In spirit, Messiah did the same thing, and that was amongst his own people in the temple during the Feast of Dedication. He's swinging swords. You see? Y'all, that's really what the whole War Ready Wednesdays is about, for get the brothers together to start swinging swords. Right? You should not be so comfortable in what you believe that you're not willing to have it tried and tested. All right? So many Israel, let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. But since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Why would they say they had much sorrow? Because it's real easy to be a Greek. It's real easy to go along with the crowd. It's hard to be righteous. It's a challenge to be righteous. You see? It's a challenge to be righteous. That's why, and that's something that our people do not like. They do not like a challenge. They do not like discipline. Our people like whatever. I want everything easy. And it's crazy because nothing in life has ever been easy for us. But whenever some type of conflict must arise because of our belief and our discipline, then we start If you're not solid in your strong, unwavering faith, you start, you understand it, looking for ways out. All right, so this device pleased them well. Verse 13, then certain of the people were so forward herein. They went to the king who gave them license to after the ordinances of the heathen. So Antiochus Epiphanes, you understand, and gave them permission. Gave our people permission to basically become Greeks, to adopt a Greek ideology, to adopt a Greek culture, to adopt Greek religion, call on Greek gods. All right, verse 14. Y'all bring that down. Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathens. Now trip off that. You feel me? So the whole culture of gymnasiums and Olympics and, you understand, stadium seating and all of it. All this is Roman, Greco, or Greco-Roman culture. All right, whether you're talking about arena, whether you're talking about stadiums, whatever you're talking about, this is Greco-Roman culture. We weren't doing any of this. All right, 15. This is what I want to go show y'all. And made themselves uncircumcised. So when we start taking on a Greek ideology and become Greeks and adopt this type of spirit, in the eyes of Yod-Heh-Wahed, we become uncircumcised because you can't be in two covenants. You understand? Us as the bride of the Most High can't be in two marriages. You see? You see? You make yourself uncircumcised. You become a heathen in mindset. You become that because that's what you think you are. If you start thinking Greek, speaking Greek, and worshiping Greek, guess what you are mentally? You are uncircumcised. You a heathen. So a lot of our people call themselves Gentiles, and spiritually they're correct. They've taken on a heathen spirit, a heathen ideology that's pure rebellion against Yod-Heh-Wahed, pure rebellion against the Most High Yahweh, pure rebellion against the gospel of Hamashiach, the Messiah Christ, pure rebellion. And I know Nick Rose gonna get mad, and you shouldn't say it like that, and it's just the truth. When you join your way to your oppressor, you become uncircumcised. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. I would tell even my beloved brother Azariah here in St. Louis, this is how you forsake the holy covenant, Ak. This is how you become uncircumcised. This is how you start blaspheming when you take on the ideology of a Greek, not because you don't subscribe to certain books, man. Get that together. Get that together, Ak. You tripping. All right. This right here shows you what it is. When you turn your back on what the Most High gave us, his divine covenant, and start identifying with something else, you become uncircumcised. And then you forsake the holy covenant and join yourselves to heathens and become sold to do mischief. So that was First Mac 1, verse 1, then 10 through 15. Now we're going to jump down to verse 20. Jump down to verse 20, all right? Here go Antiochus again, right? A precursor to the Antichrist, or the anti-Messiah, should I say. All right, the same system is in play, all right? And the powers that be are making their moves. Just sit back and watch. They're going to make their move, all right? First Maccabees 1 and verse 20. In this segment, we're going to read 20 through 25. All right, 20 through 25. This right here. It says, and after that, Antiochus is smitten Egypt, which we read about on Wikipedia. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary. So he went to not only our inner court and our courtyard, he went to our sanctuary. That's how bold this heathen was. And that's why a lot of brothers, when they get into the Antichrist, when they go into 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, you understand, when it says he is God, proclaim that he is God, sitting in the temple of God. Well, even Antiochus Epiphanes went to our sanctuary, where all our holy vessels were, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light. That's the menorah, right? That's the 7-branch candlestick that you'll see brothers lighting. And you know, a lot of us doing that feast of dedication. You understand? I burned it all, like every day of the week. It's an 8-day feast, so every day of the feast will be burned. And all the vessels thereof, verse 22, and the table of showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he poured off. So And he started ransacking our temple. Antiochus Epiphanes, this man whose name or title meant God manifest, took away the glory of our temple. And as you see, as the glory of the temple was fading, so is the glory of the people, our people. All right. And the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. We'll see what those are later. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels also. He took the hidden treasures which he found. So we even had hidden treasures. We had stashes. You understand? Tigers came on in and poured out hell upon our people, man. Understand? This fish-lipped devil right here. This fish-lipped devil right here. Him right here. All right. And I'm here to let y'all know y'all dealing with the children of this heathen that's out here. 24. When he had taken all away, he went to his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. See that? Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. So we understand historically where we at. We are roughly 164 years, 167 years before the birth of a Mashiach. You understand? This Antiochus Epiphanes, who comes out of the Seleucid dynasty, who happened to be one of Alexander the Greek's war generals. You understand? After he died, his friends split his kingdom into four, and then they all put crowns on their heads, and they all start going to war against one another. Right? So you're seeing this historically happening. All right, we're going to jump down to verse 29 to 37. All right. I skip it down because we hit this in the last video. I want to lay a little bit of this again before we get into second Maccabees. You understand? Because second Maccabees goes into more detail than what actually first Maccabees goes into chapters 1 through 4. All right. So we want to do this because, you know, brothers have put it out there that we need to start hitting more of the history in the Maccabees. There's a lot of things that went down. A lot of things you can break down scripturally too, like when you go into Daniel the 11th chapter, Daniel the 12th chapter. There's a lot of things you can break down too if you got the history of the Maccabees that are with you, Greek Empire. All right. But this right here, verse 29. After 2 years fully expired, the king, which is Antiochus Epiphanes, sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah. So he sent his accountant who wanted to keep the books. Right. But the accountant back then came with the sword, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. You see that? Came in speaking peaceable words, and that's why it says in Sirach 12 and 10 to never trust your enemy, man. Never trust your enemy. Never trust your enemy. Never forget this is warfare, right? And whatever he got to do to sleep you or to seduce you to put your guards down, he gonna do that. All right. 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. So they even show you that the sisters, you understand, the children. That's why the men got to man up and be the vanguards of this nation, man, because when this thing kick off like it did then, it's going to kick off again. You understand? You got to be ready to stand up and defend what's yours, man. You gotta be ready to stand up and defend what's yours in full faith. There ain't nothing wrong. There ain't nothing unlawful about you standing up and defending your family. You understand? Defending your people when it's obvious the devil done put a hit down. You've been allowed to put a hit down, right? You either gonna stand up or sit down. That's what it's gonna come down to. All right? It's just what it is. All right. All right, this right here, it says right here, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive and possessed cattle. 33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. How ironic that's what's going on now. Right? There's a sinful nation occupying Israel that have fortified themselves therein. All right, 35. They stored it also with armor and victuals. When they had gathered together the spoils of Yerushalayim, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. So the innocent blood of our forefathers were poured out by these Greeks. See, because they came in and forced their Hellenization, their Greek culture, their way of life on us. And a lot of us sold out. But you're going to see again, a lot of us going to sell out, take the mark of the beast. You understand? Some of these so-called perceived Hebrews you claim very strong. You understand? A lot of brothers ain't ready mentally to straight say or forsake all. You understand? And be totally out here on faith. Ain't ready to get there. If you lack faith, pray to the Most High for it. He'll give it to you, but believe it's coming. All right, we're going to jump down to verse 41 real quick. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So this is a foreshadowing of a new world order that's coming. This same thing, one world religion, one world government. You understand? King Antiochus Epiphanes, y'all, is the foreshadow. He was the foreshadow to the Antichrist and what he's going to do to the saints of God, saints of Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. See, this thing didn't happen already before. The Most High requires that which is past. There is no new thing under the sun. You got a king. You got a system in place. Then, you understand, the system you have in place is that for everyone to forget the laws of their fathers, keep my laws, become a Greek, worship our gods, embrace our culture. You see? This same hit is coming right back around. Son of perdition. Believe it or not. A lot of people, yeah, whatever, sound like a fairy tale. Well, look, we just Wikipedia Antiochus Epiphany. What you talking about? What you talking about? The same system is in play now. The deadly wound was healed. What are you talking about? Say that in Revelations. Right? The deadly wound has been healed. You understand? The Greco-Roman Empire is still in full effect, lock and load effect mode when you're done talking. All right? And Rome was even more powerful than Greece. You understand? They poured out hell on the Israelites. All right. So it says, wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also are the Israelites. Oh, no, not the Israelites. Not you commandment keepers. Huh? Keepers. Huh? Many also are the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrifice unto idols. That's a devil. That's a false god. And profane Shabbat. See that? And see, that's a sign between Israel and his people. You know what that? Tell you that in Exodus 31. It's a sign between me and Israel. So when you profane Shabbat, you understand? When it's put out your mind like it's just any old other day, and you out here doing the stuff that you would do on any other day on the Shabbat, you understand? Guess what system is running? The abomination of desolation. Right? See, one thing the heathen have always understood is this. Get them Israelites to break the laws of their God and we'll forever rule. They'll be abominable in this sight. They'll be disgusted. Right? So many of the ones, when the Israelites consent, and it said many, that means majority, y'all. Many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols. That means they were eating on the pagan day. They were bringing gifts on the pagan day. You dig? And if it was about a Sabbath day, they can care less because guess what? The Greeks don't require you to keep a Shabbat. Nor their gods. 44. Verse 44. Bless you, Prince. Verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Yerushalayim and the cities of Yahweh that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So that's the question. Huh? When Greek Hellenization, when that's the law of the land, when the New World Order kick off and the mark of the beast is the law of the land, is that still going to be your excuse? Oh, brother, we got to follow the laws of the land. At what point do you rebel? Is the question. At what point do you get in your mind and say, oh, hell no, we'll stand up and die. We'll stand up and bang and die if we have to. When do you get that in your spirit? That's where they don't want you at. They don't want you in the spirit of saying, look, fear and death don't control me. You understand? If you ever came at me with this proposition like you did my forefathers, I'm gonna have to stand up and ride in the spirit of my ancient forefathers who were righteous, not the ones that sold out. All right, not the ones that sold out. I trip off this. For the king is sent, I read it, strange laws of the land, verse 45, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Shabbat and festival days. Y'all see that? This system is running automatic. Our people don't know nothing about no festival days. Our people out shopping on the Shabbat. A lot of them believe it's Sunday, or a lot of them just play neutral and say, I don't even argue about it. See that? Basically, this heathen came in and just basically tossed out the whole Torah. Man. Whole Torah been tossed out the window and flushed down the toilet, man. Huh? Do y'all see the war? The war is against Hellenization. The Greek ideology, culture, mindset, and religion is contrary to the spirit of the Bible. I know a lot of y'all so-called in y'all fraternities, sororities claim y'all saved and all that, but that spirit, the spirit of the Greek lifestyle, culture, and ideology is contrary to the Bible. It makes you an enemy of God when you're done talking. Because the system was for us to throw out the Torah, be it burnt offerings and sacrifice, drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Shabbat festival days. And we see that happen. Our people don't even keep Hanukkah. Our people don't even keep Passover. They keep Easter. Our people don't keep Hanukkah. They keep Christmas. Our people don't keep tabernacles. They keep Halloween and Thanksgiving. See? That's what our people do. That's what our people do. You feel me? So the system is running on automatic when you're done talking. All right? Trip off this right here. Verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Why? Because we are one with our sanctuary. We are the temple of the Almighty. All right? Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols. Look, a whole system been in place right here. The abomination of desolation. Right? A whole system, and it's been running, y'all. It's a government worldwide system that's been running since Nimrod. It's been running since the first rebel after the flood, Nimrod. Even before him. Now, that's on the earthly level, but even before him, that slick Willie bastard. All right. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. Right, this is an all-out attack on our way of worship, our God, what he commanded us to do. 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. 49. To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, this is Antiochus Epiphanes. Remember this. Whoever wouldn't do according to this king that was ruling, he said he should die. It's the same thing with the Antichrist takeover. It's the same thing. You want to know what's going to go down in the future? Examine the past. All right. In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Y'all heard that? I'm going to jump down to 54. I want to show y'all. So I'm just going to read down to 54. All right. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit everyone that forsook the law. So they committed evils in the land. A lot of our people sold out. Man. Right? It's going to hurt your heart when you see somebody that's perceived as strong or revolutionary. It did compromise. See, the compromising spirit is real subtle. It make you think everything is okay, and it's not. It make you think everything is innocent. It's not. It make you think that well, Jesus already died, so I can be a Greek if I want. No, that wasn't his mission. He didn't die so you can go back into being an enemy of the Most High. To identify with the Greeks, he died for the transgressions that were under the first covenant. You understand? Greek culture is not under the first covenant, man. Real talk. All right. 53, and drove the Israelites. That word is so beautiful to me. And drove the Israelites in the secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for comfort or succor. 54. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. So let's get into the definition. Not the definition, but further description on what's happening here. What do you mean they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar? Right? What happened? You understand? What you mean sacrifice from city to city? And what's really going on here? Let's get a more vivid detail of what was going on when these Greeks came into play. All right. All right. Now, one thing we need to understand is what is an altar. An altar is a place of sacrifice, a place where you bring sacrifices, right? What an altar is, a place where you bring sacrifices and offerings. I gotta deal with me for a second. Let me get down in the second book of Maccabees real quick. Second Mac. Get in my way. It's the Mac. There we go, second Mac. All right, we're going to second Maccabees, y'all, chapter 6 next. Second Maccabees, chapter 6 is where we going next. It should be up on the screen if y'all ain't got it. Let's get further into it. Again, y'all, this is war against Hellenization. In spirit, we should be warring against this, not getting along with it, not trying to, you understand, not trying to be all, you know, diddly-do neighbor with it, but correcting our people and letting them know what they supposed to be, what spirit we supposed to be in. And it's not this. We're supposed to be at war against Hellenization, war against Greek ideology. And y'all, again, the root word for Hellenization is hell. Come on, I mean, that should send up a red flag immediately. All right, so let's get into some of these things that the king was doing. The king was sending officers through, you understand, to compel the Israelites to start sacrificing, keep the way of the Greeks. We all one people. Keep my law, no other laws. You understand? Whoever don't do what I say gonna get killed. They forced this Greek culture on us through the avenue of fear and intimidation. And that's what you should learn after you study the history of the Maccabees. Is one thing the Most High has not given us is the spirit of fear, man. The hell with a heathen. Worst he can do is kill you, man. The worst he can do is kill you. And they ain't just a heathen. The hell with man, period. Right? If you stand up and fight for the Most High, stand up and fight for the truth, the Most High fight for you. And no thing or no one will ever be able to stand against you. Remember that. No thing or no one will ever be able to stand against you. You understand? Because the creator of heaven and earth is backing you. All right. All right, this right here. This is Second Maccabees, the 6th chapter, verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man to Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and to live after the laws of God. Sounds familiar, don't it? Because in First Maccabees 1, we read that Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one and follow his laws, strange laws of the land. So now in Second Maccabees 6, we're getting deeper into it. And so what you're going to find out is the Maccabees is not written in sequential order. You'll read one chapter over here in book 1, and then in book 2, it get deeper into detail. Right? All right. And to not live after the laws of Yahweh, Yod-Heh-Wah, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem. Right? And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius. That's what happened. And that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of the strangers, as they did desire, they dwelt in the place. So what happened was they ended up calling the temple of Yod-Heh-Wah the temple of Jupiter. Right? But it's deeper than just them calling, you understand, his temple, the temple of Jupiter. As we saw, they came in with a whole form of worship, as we gonna see. Right? But we all know that our form of worship was outlawed. No Sabbath days, no feast days, no circumcisions. You understand? None of it. None of it. Right? And that's what the abomination of desolation is. Basically, they took the altar of their God and put it on the top of the altar of our God. Right? That's what happened. They took the altar of their God and put it on top of our altar. You dig? And the blood that was dripping down from the pigs and the flesh of the pigs and all that would drip down on the altar of the Most High. You see? They brought in not only another God in name, but in worship as well. And that's something you need to always check the body of notes. You need to always check the doctrine. Check what, you understand, these other gods are bringing out and teaching, because it's deeper than you just saying you down with a God. There's ceremonies, there's sacrifices, there's rituals, there's all type of things that must go on. All right, so this was a direct hit. They profaned the temple of Yod-Heh-Wah, which was set up under specific instructions, divine laws, and came in and polluted. You understand? And called it the temple of Jupiter and came in with the worship of Jupiter. Notice it said Olympius. That's where you get these Olympics from, man. And all you got to do is do a little bit of research and you'll see the pagan origin and connection to the Olympics. You understand? And Greek mythology and Greek culture. Easy work. All right. So, what about this? Verse 3. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. You see that? Yes, this will be sore and grievous unto us. Come on now, think about it. Think about it. Why wouldn't this be grievous unto us? You dig? Like, come on, we are divine people. We are people that have divine laws that were given to us by a divine power. You dig? And then these Greeks come in and enforce their way of life and their ideology on us through intimidation and fear and death. All right. And they sacked our temple, took away all the glory thereof. See, so naturally, yes, this would be grievous. This wouldn't be a time this wouldn't be a festive time. This wouldn't be a time we dancing and stanky legging and celebrate. This is why, verse 4, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles. Now see that? Riot and reveling by the Gentiles. Our temple filled with that. Just any old body can be up in our temple, man. Is you crazy? Right? But those that say rioting and reveling by the Gentiles who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. Besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. You heard that? So now they having hoes, harlots, mattress back in the temple, in the holy place, man. You see? And that's another thing the Most High hold us to. You dig? The Most High hold us to a high standard when it comes to sexual relations. See, when you a Greek or you any type of pagan, you understand, you can lay with whoever the hell you want to for the most part. Even if you had a flash of being a sodomite, you could do that. But see, under our divine laws given us by a divine creator, our divine creator, we all know that's worthy of death. Why? Because whatever doesn't produce life kills it. You're not producing life, you're taking life. What are you doing? You're a waste of space. You see? So notice, not only do they come in and sacrifice swine's flesh, make it unlawful for us to keep Shabbat, feast days, they also are running trains. They got mattress back up in the temple, man. Doing whatever you want to do. So we see this whole Greek ideology, you understand? And then look at the mindset of our people today. We don't care about Sabbaths. We don't care about feast days. We don't care that we're Israelites. We don't care about our special connection to the Most High. We'd rather be fraternities. We into riot and reveling. You understand? We'd rather have promiscuous sex. You see? All this is Greek, y'all. This is not our culture. And if we took a wife, she's our responsibility. You see? These heathens just do whatever the hell they want. That's a Greek mindset. That's a Greek ideology. You understand? All byproducts of the abomination of desolation. All of it. And to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. 5. All right. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbid. So that means it was unlawful flesh on the altar of Yod-Heh-Wahed. He was very specific in his instructions on what it is that we're supposed to sacrifice, how we build this altar, how we set up his sanctuary and everything, man. It's very beautiful and divine. Y'all willing, we'll be able to bring forth a presentation and actually give y'all a 3D view, a cutaway 3D view of inside the temple. You understand? And then an overhead view and show you how it really is. You know what I'm saying? Your body really is the temple of the Almighty. You understand? The overhead view of the temple look like the body of a man. It's crazy, man. But that's another topic, right? But the altar was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth, like swine flesh and crabs and lobsters and oysters and shellfish. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Do y'all hear that? It was unlawful for us to be Israelites. This time is coming back up. And that's why it's important for us to go ahead and get this strong faith. Nah, man. Love the brotherhood. Nah. I hear all the bickering and the slick dissing and all that, but man, when these Greeks, when these heathens open up again, you ain't finna be fat mouthing. You ain't finna be, oh man, you know, you over there and I'm over, you ain't finna be doing nothing. You're gonna be thankful to see a brethren or a sister of the faith. This is what's coming. I think the Most High is coming because guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna dead a lot of arguments. It's gonna dead a lot of arguments, man. You have to sit down and deal with your brother and deal with your sister who you may not agree with on every little thing. This time is coming. You understand? The Most High forcing us together. This heathen about to get us out of his pocket. Believe it or not, this heathen is about to get us right out of his pocket. You real comfortable with them $700 in food stamps every month, ain't you? I know. You real comfortable. I understand. You dig? But this heathen is about to get us out of his pocket. Then what? You're going to be forced to depend on your God, your people. Don't talk. Because it's going to be unlawful. It's going to be illegal for us to be an Israelite, man. You see this? You see the setup coming down. See the setup coming down. And this mindset is already working in the earth. Our people do not profess to be Israelites. They do not keep ancient feasts. They do not keep Sabbaths. They eat unlawful food. They laying with whoever the hell they want to lay with. All right? Even though your body is the temple. See that? All these things are already happening. Y'all is running on automatic. You don't care if you circumcise your sons, none of it. Just run on automatic. I heard that one up, but like, man, what the hell is all these women screeching for? Oh man, them just the deltas, you know. You dig? And they arguing, and they some saying oh this and the other one saying 08 and 06 and 04 and utter madness, no knowledge of self. Spent all them years in school and went into debt messing with this heathen. You understand? No knowledge of self. Crazy, man. Verse 7, and in the day of the king's birth every month. Trip off how pompous this bastard was, man. This heathen held a birthday every month. Y'all hear that? And in the day of the king's birth every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Do y'all know what Bacchus is? Let me go ahead and see if I can pull an image of Bacchus up. All right, this false deity. But guess what his symbol is? That's what his symbol is. Let's see if we can find a Bacchus leaf. Let's see what his symbol is. Let's go to images. Oh, Bacchus, huh? All right, let's go on down. Good old Bacchus leaf. All right, you got a few images of the god on here. This one right here. How ironic. How ironic. Can y'all see that? Please tell me y'all can see that. Y'all see that little image right in the middle of that? Hold on. Hold on. Act like it don't want to catch up right now. There it is. Bang. It's this one right here. Open this one. Bang. I want to show y'all this. No, I'm not trying to get on Pinterest. No, I'm not interested. Leave me alone. All right, this right here. I want to show y'all this. Bang, right there. All right, y'all just bear with me. It's going to get through it. Y'all going to see it. Can y'all see this little image right here? This little image right here in the middle to the left. Believe it or not, y'all, that's part of a Bacchus leaf. We grew up our whole life believing that was a heart. We grew up our whole life believing this was a heart. Your heart don't look nothing like this. A lot of you sisters walk around and you got the I love my hubby shirts on, but instead of spelling out love, you got this symbol right here. This heart symbol you thought was a heart. Your heart don't look nothing like this. Your heart look more like a fist. It has ventricles and valves in it. This is a Bacchus leaf. You thought the whole time that this was your heart. It's not a heart, it's Bacchus. So even the actual symbol of the heart that you think represents love is a pagan symbol, believe it or not. Believe it or not, family. I know. I know. I know. A lot of us ain't gonna believe it. But I want to show that. You understand? How easy it is for us to believe something, even though it's right in front of our face. It's impossible it could be that. Like, why did you believe and grow up that symbol is a heart symbol? It's not. It's a Bacchus leaf. It's a straight Bacchus leaf. You see? It's crazy as a mug, man. You understand? It's crazy how something can be right there in front of our face and how we actually can learn about certain things like that. Like in school, they used to show us pictures of our heart. I used to look at it like, man, this deal look hideous. You dig? But really, but the heart symbol that we grew up accustomed to is really a leaf that represents a false deity. Believe it or not, it gets deeper. All right. And when the fast of Bacchus, the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. So we were forced. A lot of us were compelled to go. You understand? Because that's what was going on. So it just it goes on automatic. All right. So it says, constrained to eat of the sacrifices, and when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. So they had to participate in this whole ritual, this whole ceremony, this whole feast to this false god. That's why we be so big on it. Look, don't go around your people feasting during that time. All right? Don't go around feasting during that time. If you go around, you there just simply to bring correction. But you're not around to feast and drink eggnog and chestnuts roasting. You ain't heard about it. Now I'm good on your turkey. I'm here to bring out some scriptures if y'all don't mind. If they got a problem with it, then it's just time to go. All right. All praise to the Most High. Now trip off this. It says, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. Y'all, this is why the Israelites, for the most part, bang so hard on the pagan day. And a lot of people are like, nah, I mean, it really don't mean nothing. What you mean it don't mean nothing? What you mean it don't mean nothing? You know how many children were sacrificed? You know how many of our brothers and sisters stood up and decided to die rather than to go against what thus saith the Lord? Thus saith Yod AYA? That's right, Poppy. That ain't a star either. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. You see that? Right? If you didn't conform in mindset, you understand, to being a heathen, a Gentile, then guess what? You've been put to death. And that's why it's ironic to me that in these days, our people identify so heavy with the Gentile vibration, the Gentile spirit. It makes sense now. You understand? You dealing with something that's running on automatic, something that's been running on automatic for millenniums. You understand? That was introduced through what? Fear and intimidation and death. May the Most High bless you, Prince. All right. Verse 10. All right. Let's go get into it a little deeper. Remember, we read about in First Maccabees 1 about the women that circumcised their sons anyway, and how they were killed and their infants were hanged around their necks. Look at this. Verse 10. Verse 10. It says, for there were two women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly laid round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. See what the heathen did? Threw the babies and their mamas headlong off the wall. Because these sisters were bold enough to do what thus saith the Most High and circumcise their sons. All right, 11. And others that had run together in the caves nearby to keep the Shabbat day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they made it conscious to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. They like, look, man, we're going to keep the Shabbat, right? So they decided to go into some caves. So the heathen found out and burnt all our people alive, man. Right? But when you read in Hebrews 11th chapter that some of our people were tortured and they're going to have a better resurrection, that's 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 11. Right? These were brothers and sisters that was like, look, we ain't got to bang, but guess what we ain't gonna do? And we ain't finna serve you, heathen. Right? Salute to them too. Whether the spirit is on you to stand up and bang against this heathen, or you like, look, man, you dig? I'll gladly die for doing what thus saith the Most High. Whatever spirit is on you is righteous. It was righteous for them brothers to do that, and righteous for the brothers to stand up. It was the Most High controlling the whole thing. All right? Verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for the chastening of our nation. So he like, look, when you get into this, don't be discouraged. Don't be scared to be an Israelite now, because you read about the things we had to go through and the things we're going through. Don't be scared to be no Israelite now, because you see the hit that's coming. This very hit that went down thousands of years ago is coming back around. And this is what got everybody frightened and scared. Jacob's trouble, the Bible talk about it in Jeremiah 30th chapter, verses 10 through 16. Jacob's trouble is coming, and this is part of Jacob's trouble. All right? To where you will be hunted down for your beliefs. It's the truth. It's the truth, man. You understand? Look, we Hebrews, we just passing through anyway. I don't know what everybody all nervous for. It's in our home anyway. We just passing through. You understand? Verse 13, for it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. But like this, look, don't be discouraged to be an Israelite. You understand? This wasn't for the destruction of our nation, but for the chastening. And what the scriptures say, the Most High love those who he what? Chasten. Right? If you love your child, you're going to correct him and discipline him. And even bring that rod out if you got to. Because you love him. Right? Scriptures say the same thing. Most High, who the Most High chasten, those are the ones he loved. 14. But not as with other nations whom Yahweh patiently forbeareth to punish till they become to the fullness of their sins. So dealeth he with us. And that's a shot at those that claim other nations can't sin. It's another lack of study. 15. Lest that being come to the height of sin afterwards, he should take vengeance of us. Or he said he don't do us like he'll let the other nations build sin up until he drop them. Right? He'll deal with us quick. That way we won't come to the height of sin. Right? Right? The height of it. And then afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdraw his mercy from us. And though he punished with adversity. That's right. Most High punished with putting us in adverse conditions, conditions that are against us, conditions that are not convenient for us. And although he punished with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. That's something we need to remember. Now we going through whatever hell we going through, the Most High never forsake us. All we need to do is what? Be obedient. All right, 17. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us. And now we come to declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. Now trip off this, man. This is an elder, a very good countenance. You understand? Principal scribe. I mean, this brother knew all the breakdowns and precepts of the scriptures. You just have to go to the scribes and get the breakdowns. You understand? Because they stayed up in that word. They stayed up in that Hebrew. They stayed transcribing the word out. All right. So he was a principal scribe, a chief scribe, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance. Right? They tried to force this man to eat swine flesh. Now today, you know what I'm saying? If the threat of death is on the table, you're gonna be like, boy, go ahead and eat that swine so you can go on home and hug your woman and hug your babies. All right. Well, let's see what this stand-up soldier of the Most High did. But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, came of his own accord to the torment. He said, man, I'd rather die gloriously. And that was the ancient world, man. The ancient world was all about honor, man. Not none of this sneak dissing on Facebook. Not none of this, you know, I can talk behind somebody. No, man, honor. Oh, I got a problem with somebody, man, I'm going to mumble. No, honor. I'm going to go holler at them. Right? I'd rather die than violate. No matter what's waiting on me at home. That's the mindset you gotta be in, man. All right, but it said, but he choosing to die rather die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination. That swine is an abomination, man. Spit forth and came of his own accord to the torment. You know what this elder did? He spit that madness out of his mouth and walked over to the torture rack. Y'all going to kill me before I swallow that. I'm mad it got in my mouth. Y'all going to kill me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make it easy for you. I'll meet you over at the torture rack. You see? One's reasoning, one's ideology, one's faith should always override your passions or desires. You understand? How is it that Muslims, and I'm talking about real Muslims, I'm not talking about the Negroes of Islam, I'm talking about real Muslims, Arabs, right? How do they have a stronger conviction in a false deity than you have in the real one, in the real power? All right? He said, man, I'd rather die than live stained with an abomination for 1 second. Matter of fact, I'll meet you at the toilet. I'm going to help you out. You can hurry up and get me up out of here. You see? Verse 20. As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love of life to be tested. Do y'all hear that? Swine is not lawful for the love of life to be tested. I don't think y'all understand that. If death is on the table or eat swine is on the table, somebody that's totally devoted to Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh Yahweh, he gonna choose death. This is the only mindset that will combat a tyrannical heathen like Antiochus Epiphanes. You got to be just as radical, or if not even more radical in your belief than he is. You understand? You got to be willing to die for this, man. You got to be more radical in your belief and more grounded and more established in your belief than this tyrannical Greek is that's trying to force his way of living on you. That's trying to force his God on you. You got to be more established in your faith and more radical. You understand? And this heathen right here. That's the only way you're going to be able to defeat something like that. You ain't going to be able to defeat, like, ooh, that looked like that hurt. Ooh, okay. I can live a little while longer. You got to be ready to die for this, man. Ride. It don't stop till the casket drop, right? All right. Verse 21. Verse 21. All right. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, or the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So they like, look, man, we don't want to kill you, you owe. We don't want to kill you, you owe. Huh? That's what you can do, man. Go get you some lawful flesh you can eat, right? And eat it. You can eat your lawful flesh. There's just only one problem. The crowd is going to believe you're eating swine flesh. But you know, and I know you're not eating swine flesh, but the crowd is going to believe. What you say to that? Huh? 22. That in so doing, he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. 23. Right? So again, what you gonna do? Eat the swine on the table. If you eat the swine, we'll spare your life. Right? Today, our people are running on automatic. The abomination of desolation been running. You a Greek in culture, you a Greek in mindset, you a Greek in belief, you a Greek in religion. You understand? You a Greek. So it ain't gonna be hard for you to sell out because you haven't even fathomed the fact that my belief, my faith will be tested one day. See if I really believe this thing, man. Remember we was talking about earlier about the debates and how if what you believe is true, how is it true if it's never been tested? If it's never been under crossfire, cross-examination, if you never sat in the hot seat, how you know it's the truth? How you know what you believe is the truth if somebody can introduce an element such as fear and death into the equation and you stop believing? You stop being a man of principle. You stop standing on what thus saith the Most High because somebody enters death into the equation, another variable. Intimidation, bloodshed. Now you are not the same man of principle. You understand that you were boasting about because two elements on the table, death and intimidation. 23, let's see what the elder did. Now remember, this is an old man, right? This is an old man. All right, 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, wrong was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straight ways to send him to the grave. Y'all hear that? I salute this elder, man. I pray one day I'm able to meet him. You understand? When the kingdom is set up in there, I pray I can meet this elder right here, man. Because that inspired, that when I first read it, that inspired so many brothers I knew. You understand? They was like, woo, if this elder can straight, boy, I'm talking about, went over to the torture rack, and then they try to bribe him, you know what I'm saying? And he started considering. He flashed back on his life. He remember how he's raised in the law. You know what I'm saying? Which is the only true honest education you can have is the Torah. You understand? The Gospels. You understand? He considered that. He consider, and they call it honest, most excellent education. He considered his gray hairs that was in his head. You understand? He started flashing back. And the final judgment and decision he came to was send me to the grave. You know why? Because I ain't even going to act like I ate no damn swine. Because if he act like he eat the swine or he ate the swine, everybody else out in that crowd that looked up to this brother would have did the same thing. They thought it was okay. And he said, man, I die before I live for 1 second stained with abomination. And look, he was so solid. He said, I ain't even going to act like I ate no swine. You see what he did with the bribe that they came with? He threw it right back in their face. How many of y'all would do that? You dig? And they told him, you can eat lawful food. Just act like you eating swine. You can eat the lawful food. You see? That's what the Most High is looking for in this hour. Stand up, die-hard soldiers, man. Because that's the only way you're going to beat and defeat a tyrannical heathen like these Greeks or these Romans or Donald Trump, you understand? Or Vladimir Putin, you understand? Or any of these so-called rich 13 banking elite families out here. This new world order that's coming. You understand? There's artificial intelligence that are manifested from the dark side. You understand? You have to be so grounded and so established in your belief that you be in the same spirit of this elder. I'm not even going to act like I'm going against my God. Ain't no funnies. That's how you got to be, man. And that's the only spirit that's going to last in this hour. If you fence straddling, if you lukewarm, if you like, oh, that looks like it looks like it hurts. You better pray to the Most High for some strong faith like this elder right here. He said, know what? And he answered them accordingly and willed them straight ways to send him to the grave. Y'all hear that? Whew, that's powerful, man. 24. 24. For it becometh not our age, said he, and any wise to dissemble. In other words, he's like, my age is not no excuse to sell out. You understand? We don't dissemble in old age. Where you read that at? For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now going to a strange religion. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? This man is 90 years old. What's your excuse? Huh? What's your excuse? This man 90. This man 90. You see that? And he say, man, an old age is no reason to sell out. Old age ain't no reason to sell out. You, if anything, you stand up even harder for what the truth is. You see? Verse 25. Let's get into it. And so through mind hypocrisy, he's saying this, but he also thinking it, man. And so through mind hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. He said, man, that'll be hypocritical of me to act like I ate some swine just for the sake of living a little time longer. Huh? And everybody become deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. Yeah, because everything he did wouldn't have been mentioned. Understand? If he flipped, we'd have been talking today. Who you talking about? The elder Eleazar that sold out and ate the swine because the heathen threatened him. The heathen been threatened. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. Huh? Think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. The heathen been threatening. What you mean? Since when old age is a reason to sell out? That's the question. Because this elder said old age ain't no reason to dissemble. And he's saying, so they, through mind hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me. And I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. You heard that? Because a good name is better than gold. Better is the day of one's death than the day of one's birth. The end of a thing is better than the beginning of it. You see? Had he sold out, he'd have been known as sellout Eleazar. You understand? Whose knees was knocking like a naked newborn at the threats of a Greek king who simply wanted him to act like he ate some swine. Y'all see that? That's right, Doc. He was born for that moment, man. For the verse 26, for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men. Yes, should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. He's like, yeah, y'all may spare me a little bit, but boy, that hand of that Almighty is something else. I won't escape him alive or dead. So I may escape your hand for a few seconds, but you understand, later for that, I fear the Most High. And dig, and I'd rather have y'all mad at me than him mad at me. You understand? 7 days of the week. That's right, Blue Tinsel. That's right, Blue Tinsel. Abraham was thrown in the fiery furnace before he left Chaldea. All right, 27. Wherefore now manfully changing this life. Manfully. You'll be hearing brothers saying, man up. Right? Man up. Manfully changing this life, I will show myself such a one as mine age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy law. He said, boy, I'm going to leave an example for generations to come. For all the young brothers, generation to come, you understand, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. See? Well, this story got me fired up the first time I read it, man. I was so on fire. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him, changing the good will, they buried him a little before in the hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. They said, man, this man crazy. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto Yahweh that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul am well content to suffer these things because I fear him. You see that? That's a soldier for the Most High right there, boy. He said, yeah, in body I'm pain, but I'm well content. In soul I'm well content because I fear the Most High. All right? And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation, including you sisters. Including you sisters. We got a rich history, man. We got a rich history. Second Mac, chapter 7, verse 1. These are some of the abominations and things when they said it was illegal or unlawful to be an Israelite, and how they were trying to drive us into, we had to flee for anywhere we could find for comfort. These are some of the abominations that were going on. Our people were being tortured. You understand? And you have factions of our people that stood up and fought. You have factions of our people who didn't mind being tortured and laid down for it. The brothers and sisters that were burned up in the cave for keeping the Shabbat. You understand? This Elder Eleazar right here, who wouldn't even act like, I guess he wouldn't have been in Hollywood if he was living today, huh? He wouldn't have been searching to be in Hollywood acting, you understand, like something that's against the Almighty. Like Eleazar say, ain't no funnies. Hell, you mean we acting? What we acting for? What we acting about? You see? Souls on the line, man. The way this elder stood up and went out, man, definitely rang bells for millenniums. It's been over 2,000 years, and every year we read about this soldier, this elder who was 90, who walked himself to the torture rack, who told them heathens, you better send me to the grave. I ain't even gonna act like I went against my God, man. I fear him. That's the spirit. That's the spirit you need to wage war spiritually against the forces of darkness, because the same force is at work in this hour, striving to put out the light. Forces of darkness are striving to put out the light, man. You understand? That boy say, what you say, Yak Ellie say, I pray my legs don't give out on 13 stir. No, I piss myself. No falter in front of my brethren. Hey man, you ever want to train your mind and looking at some very hideous things, you understand? You know, you can always Google and look up live beheadings. My bad, y'all, drinking some water. You can always look up beheadings, you know what I'm saying, on the web. And just get used to it. Sometimes I look at it, I sit back and look like, boy, look at that there. You understand? You got to stand strong, boy. You got to stand strong. Dig? But look, we got these things that were written aforetime are written for our learning. So we got forefathers, we got elders, that were so established in their belief and their faith, they walked to the torture rack. That's like us running up the 13 steps to the guillotine. What's cracking? You see, faith was that solid, man. All right. 2 Maccabees chapter 7 is where I'm going next. If y'all getting some understanding thus far, go ahead and throw a 9 up in here. Throw a 9 up in here. All right. Throw a 9 up in here. If y'all getting some understanding thus far, again, this is war against Greek tyranny, or war against Hellenization, if you want to call it that. What is Hellenization? What is Hellenization, right? Here it is again. It's up on the screen. Hellenization. All right. Hellenization is the historical spread of ancient Greek culture, religion, and to a lesser extent, language over foreign peoples conquered by Greeks or brought into their sphere of influence, particularly during the Hellenistic period following the campaigns of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC. Y'all see that? All right. Straight up. Or to make Greek. That's what another one say. Let me go to the dictionary.com. That was a real good short one. All right. Dictionary.com, Hellenization, and character. A lot of our people, man, became Greeks. So how you become a Greek? By adopting the culture, ideology, and religion of the Greeks. That's how you become Hellenized. All right. To make Greek in character. Definition 2, to adopt Greek ideas or customs. All right. And as we see, this elder of ours says, send me to the grave. I ain't even gonna act like I'm a Greek. You brothers out there and sisters out there today throwing up your Q-dog signs, your Kappas, your Alphas, your Sappers, you understand? This ain't nothing but college gang banging. Then you get on the little brothers in the streets and they throw up their hand signs too. You see? See, his other madness. When you done talking, we have forefathers and foremothers that died the version of becoming a Greek. What about you? We're all a revolutionary there, man. Everybody just comfortable with going to work, paying taxes. You understand? Paying mortgage, paying car notes. We're the ones that's gonna stand up and say something controversial, or say something that try you in your thinking. The Negro done got so comfortable and weak. You understand? Like he hates to even be challenged to think. You don't even have the discipline to sit there and have a straight dialogue or discourse with your beliefs and ideologies, man. All right. So if y'all just joining us, this is war against Hellenization. Hellenization means to be made Greek in character, language, thought, and religion. You understand? A lot of our people's system is running on automatic after 2,000 years. A lot of our people seek to become Greeks. You understand? Through these so-called fraternities, when the first fraternity, so-called Negro fraternity, was what, the Boule, 1904? You understand? And they were pushing the same agenda. It's just like with the so-called Prince Hall Masons. Y'all push the same agenda as the Scottish Rite and Yorkshire Masons. You understand? The whole fraternities and sororities are mini Masonic orders when you're done talking. Y'all got hazing rituals. Y'all got secrets. It's the same thing with the Masons. It's the same exact thing. All right? But this right here, 2 Maccabees chapter 7. And I pray my sisters, all my sisters, learn to get this spirit right here too. Because this sister right here, you understand? She got a stomach tougher than most men today. And that's why we saying this same spirit got to be back on both the brothers and the sisters, man. You understand? It's going to take us to be that solid and that radical in our belief, you understand, to even conquer a spirit like this. And this is the part of the war where it ain't even physical yet. We're gonna read about when we had to pull swords. You understand? But if you tripping off Eleazar, or the elder that was 90, and this so-called Greek tyrant that was trying to get him to act like he ate some swine, who won that battle? You have to say Eleazar won, because even with the threat of death on the table, he still stood on his principles. He still stood on the law of the Most High. You understand? Even with death, fear, and intimidation on the table. Even though he was 90 years old, Ak went out as a martyr. Zyquan went out as a martyr. Zyquan is Hebrew for elder. Went out as a martyr, man. All right? This right here is 2 Mac 7, about a mother and her 7 sons, right? And this is what we wanted to go into, you understand, to show like events leading up to the dedication. We see brothers that decided to get tortured. Brothers and sisters decided to get burnt up for the Shabbat. We got a faction of people that sold out. Then we got a faction of brothers that stood up and bang, brought the war right to the heathen front door. Like what y'all thought, the God of Israel was some chump? Oh, all right, let's get it. All right. All right, so this right here, 2 Mac 7. 2 Maccabees 7 and 1. All right, it's up on the screen. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king. What king are we talking about, y'all? Antiochus Epiphanes. Never forget the man who claims that his name means what? God manifest. God on earth, God manifest. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law, take swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. Wow. Huh? Sound familiar, you Israelites, huh? But one of them spake first, said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. The brothers was on one accord, man. See? And what you want to know from us? We ready to die. You dig? It's crazy because Biggie Smalls back in the day came out with an album called Ready to Die. But it was all for the wrong reasons, man. See that? It was all for the wrong reasons. You dig? It wasn't for the honorable, holy, and noble laws of the Almighty, the divine laws of the Almighty. He was ready to die for some type of street fame, something. And as we see, he spoke it on himself. All right? But these brothers right here said they were ready to die for the laws of our father. We ready. They like, look, we've been trained for this. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. He said, heat up them cauldrons. Heat up that skillet over there. Now, remember what this king is doing, because this is going to lead into how he died. Remember this. You dig? And for any of you heathens listening out there that may be, you know what I'm saying, bloodthirsty enemies of Israel, your arm's too short to box with the Almighty. You understand? You messing with the Most High's people is like poking him in his eye. We are the apple of his eye. And that's why judgment is on this place, man. You dig? And that's why I sing "Oh Happy Day" behind it. Because any of y'all that are enemies of the Most High's people, you're enemies of him. Can't be cool. It's how we cool and you hate my children. It don't make sense. Right? So this king right here being in the rage commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, right? Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. So he dismembered his brother, cut his tongue out first, and cut all his members out. Cut all his members off, should I say. Hacked them to pieces. But his mother and his brothers looking on. Can you imagine the psychological trauma? Huh? A lot of this was done on us in slavery. They called it breaking the buck. Call it breaking the buck. And a lot of them sodomite slave owners would take the rear end of the husband while the pregnant wife would be looking, and the young children. They called it breaking the buck. See, y'all, these are the children of their forefathers when you're done talking. These heathens invent ways to kill. All right? So with his mother and his brothers looking on now, again, if they're looking on and they're watching him being dismembered, right, and his tongue being cut out, what is that doing to each one of their psyche? If they are not strong and resolute in their faith and in their belief, it's gonna make them become afraid. It's gonna make them fearful, and they're gonna do something that's against the Most High and be finished. You see, fear and intimidation, you understand, play a major role in psychology. Psychology means the study of one's mind. Fear. Through fear, Solomon got a true answer. Solomon got a true answer out of the two harlots that were arguing over the baby. He said, well, bring the baby here, I'm gonna cut the baby in half. Y'all both gonna have a half piece. No, 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 give it to her. He's like, well, you must be the baby's mother, because you would act in any way to spare this baby's life, wouldn't you? You dig? See, fear brings some type of truth to the situation. You dig? But it will also make you what? If you're not grounded in faith. If you're not grounded in faith, it'll make you take your eyes off the prize, you dig, and to commit some type of wickedness. Fear. Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, right? Verse 5. Now, when he was thus maimed and all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. This heathen entire epiphany was a devil, man. I don't care what nobody say. This heathen was a straight devil. This man naming God manifest. This was the Antichrist, a foreshadow of the Antichrist. A foreshadow of the abomination that's coming, the abomination of desolation. The system already showed its face. The system is already running on automatic. You will fight your brothers and sisters to prove you a Greek. You understand? Like if they threaten to cut off your tongue and dismember you and then fry your body in a cauldron, you're gonna be like, no, no, no. See, what had happened was I just was playing. No, I ain't no Israel. Who? The Israelite for no, I ain't none of that, man. I just was playing, man. I thought it sounded good. I seen a couple of brothers reading the Bible, but nah, man, I'm cool. Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Right? He said right here to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus. So even though he is skin, they can smell his flesh frying. Even though he's been dismembered, tongue cut off, his mother and his brothers is telling him to die manfully. And this is what they were saying. Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh Eloheinu, looketh upon us, and in truth have comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. When the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? Y'all heard that? They scalped this young brother. They scalped him. They brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, huh? You dealing with heathens. They straight scalped this brother. They asked him, wilt thou eat before thou being punished throughout every member of thy body? But he answered in his own language and said, no. In Hebrew, that's lo, Allah. However you want to say it, lo, or no, Allah. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. He like, man, I never sell out. I don't care how much pain I'm in because you scalp me. Huh? Again, y'all, our faith, our belief, our ideology overrides the desire to live a few seconds longer, to eat a few bowls of porridge, to eat some slop with the Antichrist, man. The elder Eliezer said, man, die honorably, man. Die courageously, die gloriously. I'd rather die gloriously. I'd rather die once, man, not 1,000 times. Huh? Because you ain't got the spine to stand on what the truth is. Dying one time. I ain't got time to be, reinventing myself and you know what I'm saying? Because somebody that came around here with a threat or something. Man, look, one way in, one way out. Verse 9. And when he was at the last grasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life. But the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. Do y'all hear that? These brothers not only believed in the laws of the Most High, they believed in the resurrection. Yeah, they believed in the resurrection, not reincarnation, resurrection. Huh? He say, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws into everlasting life. After him was the third made a mocking stock. When he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon holding forth his hands mindfully, and said courageously, these I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them. And from him I hope to receive them again. He said, man, I got these from heaven. The Most High fashioned me in my mother's womb. And for his laws, you can take them. Right? See, Greek tyranny, the fear of Greek culture, the fear of death, the fear of intimidation, ain't got nothing with a mother and 7 sons like this and the elder Eliezer like this. You ain't got nothing for him because you can't control him. Death don't persuade him. It's the mindset we ought to be in. Y'all, Jacob's trouble is here. Right? And said, I hope to receive them again, and he will. And so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, but that he nothing regarded the. Now, when this man was dead, also they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. These devils are for real with this, y'all. In like manner. So when he was ready to be, it is good. It is good being put to death by men to look for hope from Yod-Heh-Wah, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection of life. Look, he barking on this heathen as he getting tortured. Huh? And said it was good to be put to death by men and to look for hope from God to be raised up again by him. He said, that's a good thing. I look forward to the resurrection. Huh? And he told the king, you ain't gonna have no resurrection of life. You're done. 15. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him Then looked he unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahweh. Now, you do what you wilt, right? Yeah, that's where all Aleister Crowley and all these Luciferians, that's the code they live by. Do what you want to do. But you see what this young brother told him? Don't think our nation is forsaken of Yah. But abide a while and behold his great power, how he would torment you and your seed. These brothers are powerful. These are courageous brothers, man. This is the spirit you should be hoping for in these last hours. After him also, they brought the 6 who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause. Be not deceived without cause. For we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. He said, don't be deceived without a cause. We going through this because we don't win against our God, man. You feel me? And that even take courage in this hour to let a whole bunch of hard-headed Negroes and heathens know. The only reason we going through this, the only reason we lower than snail nuts is because we went against our power, man. That take courage because Negroes running around here want to blame everybody. And what took courage, his brother say, man, I don't care about no pain, man. Chop it all off. 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against Yahweh, that thou shalt escape unpunished, heathen, you going down. But the mother was marvelous above all. I heard that? But the mother, it's for my sisters out here, man. My sisters that are standing strong in this word, right? The virtuous daughters of Zion, who by any means gonna hold on to their virtuosity, by any means gonna stay in order, by any means gonna be that man's peace, by any means gonna be obedient, right? It's for y'all, man. It's courage is for y'all because these times are coming back up, right? But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. She saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day. She buried with a good courage because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. Y'all see that? She watched 7 of her sons get slain in one day, a 24-hour period. Said she buried it with good courage because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. You see, faith is very powerful. See that? Faith is very powerful. She like, look, she watched 7 of her sons. Whatever you going through, you ain't lost 7 children in one day. Huh? Let this be a comfort for us. Right? Let this be a comfort for us. Also, let this encourage us because these same judgments are coming right back around. Believe that. Believe that. I know a lot of people got y'all thinking this is, you know what I'm saying, diddly do neighbor, and this is, you know, Walt Disney and all, man. Real thing this. All right. 21. Yeah, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, this sister was hard, boy. You see that? Yeah, she had womanish thoughts, but when it says she had a manly stomach, that means she was very strong in her mind, very strong in her mentals, right? She really believed this thing, man. She wasn't tripping off the fact that death, a variable such as death and intimidation, was entered into the equation, right? What they got to do with us going against our divine God, our divine laws, our way of life, right? You're going to look up and everybody Hellenized. We all Greeks now. When somebody going to stand up in spirit like the Maccabees and them, man, spirit and wage war against wickedness. You dig? That's what we supposed to be doing around this time of the year, man, waging war. Don't let the light go out because that's what these Greeks were doing under the hit of Satan. Put the light out, man. Put the light out. You dig? And it was banging hard. They thought death and all that could get us to crack. You dig? I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life. Neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. She like, look at what, how y'all was fashioned and made in my womb. I don't even know how. Right? Trip off this. But doubtless the creator of the world who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again. And ye not regard not your own selves for his laws sake. She said, but look, don't doubt. Creator of heaven and earth will give you life again. You know why? Because you regard not yourself for his laws, right? You committed to a higher idea or something higher than yourself, man. This society got you thinking you're here to serve yourself, but you're committed to something higher than yourself. See? That's how you get through something like this without selling out. Ooh, it hurts. Ooh, look like it's hot. Ooh. You understand? You talking about temporary pain, you understand? For eternal joy. Trip off that. 24. Now Antiochus thinking himself despised, and expecting it to be a reproachful speech, while the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. So here he comes trying to bribe the youngest brother. Here he come. He come with bribe. That's what this heathen known for, bribing. Right? That's why it's important, y'all, for us to raise our short leggers, our children, in this same vibration right here. They're supposed to be just as confident as these 7 sons and their mama is. That no matter what is on the table, we gonna stand strong. Huh? Here come the heathen trying to what? Bribe the youngin. But when the young man with no case hearkening to him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. She's like, all right, I'll talk to him. When we talk to my baby boy, all right, I'll talk to him. She bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, speaking her country language on this manner. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years and nourished thee, and gave thee suck 3 years and nourished thee, and brought thee up into this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that Yahweh made them of things that were not. So was mankind made likewise. She's like, look at everything that was made. They were made by things that you don't see, right? And that's another lesson we got coming out called faith, the belief in the unseen, right? The power in believing in what you can't see. But she said, just look at heaven and earth and all that is therein. I consider that Yahweh made them of things that were not. Everything you see, the sun, the moon, the earth, the land, the waters, everything was made by something that's invisible, right? Yod-Heh-Wahe, invisible. So the visible was made by the visible was made by the invisible, should I say. So 29, she say, fear not this tormentor, being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moshe. And thou hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews. Shall not escape the hands of Yahweh. I like these young brothers. You know why? Because these young brothers is letting the heathen know, even though they ain't got no physical weapons on them, they letting the heathen know, boy, you're done. You understand? You better hope we don't bump into you on the other side. You understand? It's going to be hell to tell the captain. It's going to be hell to pay the captain. Verse 32. I like how they telling this heathen, you done. You ain't going to escape the hands of God. The other brother said, you won't have resurrection to life. The other brother said, don't be thinking that the Most High done forsook us. We going through this because we done sinned against him. That's it. All right? For we suffer because of our sins. And though the living power be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. That's a promise. Most High look mad at us a little bit. A little bit. You dig? A little bit. And when we going through our ups and downs, family, always remember that. Always remember that. You understand? He just mad a little bit. You dig? It ain't nothing compared to how he gonna get on these heathens, though. These heathens got it coming. They gotta holler at our Father. You understand? He gonna put them in check, break their back, and put them in check. All right? But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of Yod-Heh-Wah. But thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty Yahweh, who seeth all things. For our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under Yahweh's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of Yahweh, shall receive just punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Yahweh that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is Yahweh. These brothers getting tormented, you understand? And straight letting this heathen know you're going to be tormented, right? You're going to die a horrible death. You're going to have plagues. Like they was prophesying, you understand, about the death of Antiochus Epiphanes. And we're going to read about it today. We're going to read about it today. And that in me and my brethren, the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. Then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest, took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died under fire and put his whole trust in Yahweh. See how you die under fire? Or putting your trust in the Most High. I don't care what variable has been entered into the equation. I don't care what they didn't put on the table. Death, fear, intimidation. What we just learned from an elder, a mother, and her 7 sons is die manfully for the laws of the Most High. You understand? No matter what this heathen talking about. Don't fear the words of a sinner. His glory shall be worms. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feasts and the extreme tortures. Y'all see that? But these were the things that were going on, you understand, leading up to the Feast of the Dedication. We read some of it. We read chapters 1 through 4 the other day. And 2 Maccabees 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is more of a detail of what happened. So we see that some of the atrocities was happening. The elder, they want him to fake like he ate some swine. He walked over to the torture rack and yelled at them and told them, send me to the grave. I'm not even going to act like I ate that. You understand? What we learn out of that is you don't even play like you're going against the Almighty. You don't even act like you went against him. You understand why? Because soul's on the line. You could be somebody that's perceived as powerful and righteous in this thing, and you fall off and go left field, when you act as if you did, and everybody else follows suit because they look up to you. If he did it, it must be cool. You get a stain on your name, man, and you'll be known as sellout Eleazar. And we go into the mother and the 7 sons. Also, in the earlier chapter of that chapter 6 with Eleazar, we read about the Bacchus. Feast of Bacchus, where the Israelites were forced to keep this. We learned the shape of a Bacchus leaf, which actually is a heart. That heart shape you thought was a heart this whole time actually been the symbol of a false god, Bacchus. And how this Greek king held his birthday every month. Antiochus Epiphanes was a proud, pompous, evil, diabolical heathen, man. You understand? Who was a forerunner to the Antichrist. That very system, that government that it's running on automatic now. And as we see, we had brothers, elders, mothers, and brothers who actually stood up. You understand? And even though they didn't fight, they weren't the faction of Israelites that actually physically fought. They fought in spirit. You understand? How? By not selling out. You understand? That's why we're never to compromise in our beliefs. You're never to compromise, man. We around here compromising, trying to figure out ways to appease every damn body. Like this walk is about making everybody happy. No, it ain't. This walk is about what thus saith the Most High. You understand? Following the teachings of his beloved son, right? Become a disciple. That means you're in school. Follow the teachings of your master teacher, which is the Messiah. You follow his teachings, all right? You move from disciple or student to apostle, someone sent forth with authority, all right? So all praise and glory now. Lala told Queen, I know who I am. Lala told, meaning good night. All praise. That's right, Ron Tuvia. To the casket drop, man. To the casket drop. All right, so second Mac chapter 8. We even had other brothers and sisters that instead of profaning the Shabbat, they went and kept it in the cave and were burnt. Right? Now these are factional brothers we're about to read about that stood up. All right. Second Maccabees 8. Second Maccabees 8:1. Then Judas Maccabeus and they that were with him went privily into the towns and called their skin folks or kin folks together and took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion, feel me, or kept the Torah holy, and assembled about 6,000 men. And they called upon Yahweh. He would look upon the people that was trod down of all, and also pity the temple profaned of ungodly men. So what they do before they go to war, they pray, man. We've been going over the power of your thoughts, the power of your talk, the power of your feelings, the power of your walk. We've been going into all that. You understand? All the tools of manifestation. All right? We've been going to all that. We've been going to the power of your prayers, the power of your faith, all of it. Now, what is it that our ancient forefathers knew that we don't know? They understand we're going to go to war. We got to pray first. You understand? Because the victory cometh from where? Heaven, coming from the throne of the Almighty. We have a technology. We have a God. We have a power. We have a creator on our side. We have a force on our side, the force of all forces that don't nobody else got. You understand? Yahweh. And they called upon Yahweh. All right. Verse 3. And that he would have compassion upon the city, sword to face, and ready to be made even with the ground, and heard the blood that cried unto him. And remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants, and the blasphemies committed against his name, and that he would show his hatred against the wicked. This is in their prayers, man. I see what they praying about. Pray that the Most High would look upon the people that were trodden down, and that he would have pity on the temple that had been profaned, that he would have compassion on the city, sword to face, and that he would hear the blood that cried unto him, and that the Most High would remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants. Yeah, they were killing our babies then, man. And the blasphemies committed against his name. Remember this, that he would show his hatred against the wicked. This is in their prayers before they go to war, and their very petition the Most High answered. And that's where, again, this is what the elite feared, my brothers and sisters, that we done figured out how to get spiritual on them. And we can petition the heavens and get results immediately. Our forefathers knew how to do it, you understand? And if the covenant applies to them, it applies to you. If the prayers work for them, they'll work for you. You're the same people, same DNA, same blood. You understand? It just takes an acknowledgement of who we are and how close we are and special we are to the Almighty. All right, verse 5. Now, when Maccabeus had his company about him, he could not be withstood by the heathen, for the wrath of Yahweh was turned into mercy. Therefore, he came at unawares and burnt up towns and cities and got into his hands the most commodious places and overcame and put to flight no small number of his enemies, because the Most High was with him. Yahweh was with him. Again, Judah Maccabee was fighting with a force the other side didn't have. The Greeks didn't have his force. The Greeks didn't have his power. The Greeks didn't have Yahweh. Feel me? Our technology, our God, our power. But it's technology more than something you use to get something done. A means to an end to get something done in an efficient way. Yeah. You understand? Yahweh then. Yahweh is definitely not only just our God, our power, our creator, our king, our owner, our possessor. He's also our technology. Wow. All right. But especially took he advantage of the night. The Maccabee was a cat creep upon you while you were sleeping. For such privy attempts, and so much that the fruit of his holiness was spread everywhere. When Philip saw that this man increased by little and little, that things prospered with him still more and more. He wrote unto Ptolemaeus, the governor of Silo, Syria, and Phoenix, to yield more aid to the king's affairs. They're like, look, this Hebrew is getting out of hand here. We need more aid. Then forward choosing Nicanor. Nicanor, huh? Not this heathen. And again, there's a feast that we celebrate too, the day before Purim. It's called the destruction of Nicanor. We'll get into more of the history as we go. You understand? But he was somebody that was a pure blasphemer. We threw a feast after he was destroyed. All right. So right here it says one of his special friends, he sent him with no fewer than 20,000 of all nations under him to root out the whole generation of the Jews. And with him he joined also Gorgias, a captain, who in matters of war had great experience. So this is Nicanor and Gorgias coming against the Israelites with 20,000 men, and the Israelites outnumbered. We have 6,000. So Nicanor undertook to make so much money of the captive Jews as the captive Jews should defray the tribute of 2,000 talents, which the king was to pay to the Romans. So read it again. So Nicanor undertook to make so much money of the slave Jews as should defray the tribute of 2,000 talents, which the king was to pay to the Romans. So he was going to get the money out of the slaves, the Jews that he made slavery, captive, tax them more. You feel me? And use them, our forced labor, our blood, sweat, and tears to get out of debt with the Romans. Wow. Verse 11. Bless you, Chantel. Wherefore immediately he sent to the cities upon the seacoast, proclaiming a sale of the captive Jews. Now trip off that. This was 165 years before Yahushua was in. 165 years. All right. Immediately sent to the cities upon the seacoast, proclaiming a sale of the captive Jews. Sound familiar? Auction blocks. That's what I'm saying, man. This Bible is so beautiful. Ain't no way in the world this is not you. It's impossible. All right. And promising that they should have 80 bodies for 1 talent, not expecting the vengeance that was to follow upon them from the Almighty God. So he's saying you can have 90 bodies for 1 talent. All right. Talent is a medium of exchange, like a shekel or talent or whatever. But he did this not expecting the vengeance that was to follow upon him from the Almighty. So we figured he sell us, get the money from selling us, pay back the Romans. Oh no, the Most has something else in mind for you, heathen. 12. Now when word was brought unto Judas of Nicanor's coming, and he had imparted unto those that were with him that the army was at hand, they that were fearful and distrusted the justice of Yahweh fled. Y'all heard that? Fled and conveyed themselves away. That's like us hearing about SWAT outside, or FEMA, or you know what I'm saying, the UN troops, or you know what I'm saying, the Navy SEALs, or the Marines, or the the Green Berets, or whoever. Special forces outside, so some of our people get scared. They were fearful and distrusted the justice of Yahweh, fled and conveyed themselves away like it's too many of them. They were feeling, right? They didn't trust. They didn't have any faith, right? If you don't have any faith, you're not going to see any miracles. You're not going to see any miracles. All right. Others, 14. Others sold all that they had left and withal besought Yahweh to deliver them, sold by the wicked Nicanor before they met together. And if not for their own sakes, yet for the covenants he had made with their fathers, and for his only and glorious namesake by which they were called. So Maccabeus called his men together unto the number of 6,000, and exhorted them not to be stricken with terror of the enemy, nor to fear the great multitude of the heathen who came wrongly against them, but to fight manfully. You see that? You have to do that to combat the fear that's spreading through the ranks. Fear is contagious, man. Fear is contagious, right? So, Judah Maccabee got to start exhorting his men, right? and told them, look, man, fight manfully, man up. All right, man up. And to set before their eyes the injury that they had unjustly done to the holy place. Remember, look what happened to the temple. Y'all run around here tripping off how many people they got. Look what happened. And the cruel handling of the city, whereof they made a mockery, and also the taking away of the government and their forefathers. Like, man, everything's been dismantled. If we don't stand up and fight, we're going to be wiped off the earth, man. What's good? All right. They said he trust in their weapons and boldness. For they said he trust in their weapons and boldness. But our confidence is in the Almighty. That's right. Who at a bet can cast down both them that come against us and also all the world. Yeah, their confidence in their weapons. Their faith is in their weapons, but our faith is in Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, the Almighty, Yahweh El Shaddai. You understand? And again, family, if this applied to your forefathers who the covenant is with, and you under the same covenant, it applies to us as well, right? Yeah, they trust in their weapons. They have faith in their weapons, but our faith is in the Almighty, right? Where the bet can cast down both them that come against us and also all the world, the Most High. So in other words, the Most High is for us. No one or no thing can stand against us. 19. Moreover, he recounted unto them what helps their forefathers had found and how they were delivered when under Sennacherib 185,000 perished. So then he brings up, what is that? 2 Kings 19. 2 Kings 19. When we prayed, we use Yahweh's technology. It's our God, our power. We prayed to the Most High and fasted. We got up to go to war the next day, and overnight, the Most High sent one angel, and one angel killed 185,000 of our enemies because Israel prayed for it. Again, y'all, this is what they fear. Nations fear this right here. It ain't because you can go get you a little pop gun out the store now, or you in an open carry state. The nations fear that you know how to holler at your power and you can get immediate results. Nations fear you've been fine tuning. You understand? Tuning in. Huh? Right? Calling on the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Tuning in, getting that right tonation popping. That's what they fear. They fear that because calling on the Most High in full belief and faith, man, will crack the heavens. You see? And Judah Maccabee brought into understanding about, you remember in the days of Sennacherib, the Assyrian, how they came against us, and overnight Most High sent one angel and laid down 185,000 while they was fighting and scratching. Right? It's the same God. He got the same messengers. You the same people. You understand? The same prayers and full faith to work for you. Yahweh Shah was trying to teach us the whole time we were powerful, man. Tell them nothing is impossible for you. Peter was walking on water till he doubted. That's how powerful you are. All right. Verse 20. And he told them of the battle that they had in Babylon with the Galatians, how they came, but 8,000 in all to the business, 4,000 Macedonians. And that the Macedonians being perplexed, the 8,000 destroyed, and 120,000 because of the help that they had from heaven. So received great booty. You see that? Huh? Because of the help they had from heaven. Y'all, that same help is right at our disposal, right at our asking. You have not because you ask not. All right? This Bible is about us leveling up and vibrating on the same frequency as Yahweh, man. You understand? We supposed to be moving out here powerful. That's what Christ taught. He told you got the power to heal diseases, cast out devils, raise the dead, cleanse lepers. I mean, what you want to do? Walk on water, turn water to wine? You can control the storms. What you want to do? What you want to do? You see? The whole Bible is about this. The whole Bible is about fasting and praying and miracles. The whole Bible supernatural, man. All right? Thus, when he had made them bold with these words and ready to die for the law in the country, he divided his army into 4 parts. So he cheered them up. He encouraged them in the mind. Everything goes back to thought. If you think you're going to lose, you're going to lose. right? But if you focus on winning, you're going to take it home. You're going to win. Believe it. Understand? It's all about who can focus longer, right? And join with himself his own brethren, leaders of each band, to wit, Simon and Joseph and Jonathan, giving each one of them 1,500 men. Also, he appointed Eleazar to read the holy book. And when he had given them this watchword, the help of Yahweh himself leading the first band. And by the help of the Almighty, they slew about 9,000 of their enemies. Y'all hear that? Help of the Almighty, man. Call on your power no matter what you're going through. No matter what you're going through, man. Spend your time these last hours we got praying and meditating, man. Studying. There's so many jewels. So many jewels, man. I see stuff every day. I be like, wow, man, let me just mark that down and start building a lesson on that. So many jewels, man. Bible is supernatural because you're a supernatural people, right? You've been conditioned to think, speak, feel, and move a certain way. You understand? So those that have trained you in that control your reality. It's the truth. It's facts. You understand? That's right. The kingdom. Yeah, the kingdom is within, man. It's now. He kept telling you it's at hand. It's right now. Like, what's good? You feel me? And he tells you got the powers, man. You got it. You got to believe it. Nothing impossible to you. All right? And wounded and maimed the most part of Nicanor's host, and so put all to flight. And took their money that came to buy them. Yeah, because remember, he's going to sell our brothers so he can make him some money to pay off the Romans. And took their money that came to buy them and pursued them far, but lacking time, they returned. For it was the day before the Shabbat. Therefore, they could no longer pursue them. When they had gathered their army together and spoiled their enemies, they occupied themselves about the Shabbat, yielding exceeding praise and thanks to Yahweh, who had preserved them unto that day, which was the beginning of mercy distilling upon them, and they still were obedient. After they banged out, they kept Shabbat. See what I'm saying? After they banged out, they kept Shabbat, man. Be obedient. Look at you. You don't want to keep Shabbat because that's your biggest time to make you some money. You understand? But these brothers kept Shabbat after they finished banging in the war of the Most High. Still kept Shabbat, man. Stayed obedient. So that's the question. At what extent do you go to stay obedient? How far are you willing to take it to stay obedient? That's the point. All right. All right, 28. And after the Shabbat, when they had given part of the spoils to the maimed and the widows and the orphans, the residue they divided among themselves and their servants, right? Because you're going to have to look out. You got to look out for the maimed, the widows, the orphans, the less fortunate, because a war then kicked off. So parts of the spoils is put up to make sure they are maintained. And then whatever's rest, they divide amongst themselves and their servants. Righteousness, even in warfare, man. Righteousness, even in warfare. There are laws governing warfare. 29. When this was done and they had made a common supplication, they besought the merciful Yod-Heh-Wahe to be reconciled with his servants forever. Yeah. Man. Moreover, of those that were with Timotheus and Bacchides who fought against them, they slew about 20,000 and very easily got high in strongholds and divided among themselves many spoils more and made the maimed orphans, widows, yea, and the aged also equal in spoils with themselves. Took care of the less fortunate. See that? Took care of the less fortunate who may have been injured in war, or, you know what I'm saying? Parents may have died in battle. Widows, husband may have died in battle. The aged, the Zyquans or the Zakim, you understand? 31. And when they had gathered their armor together, they laid up all carefully in convenient places, and the remnant of the spoils they brought to Jerusalem. They slew also Philox, that wicked person who was with Timotheus, and had annoyed the Jews many ways. Furthermore, at such time as they kept the feasts for their victory in the country, they burnt Calistines that had set fire upon the holy gates, who had fled into a little house. So he received a reward meet for his wickedness. Yeah. As for that most ungracious Nicanor, who had brought 1,000 merchants to buy the Jews, he was, through the help of Yahweh, brought down by them, of whom he made least account, putting off his glorious apparel and discharging his company. He came like a fugitive servant through the midland unto Antioch, having a very great dishonor, that his host was destroyed. Hallelujah. Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute by means of captives in Jerusalem, told abroad that the Jews had God to fight for them. His little plan spoiled. You thought you finna sell my brethren, my forefathers, so you can pay off the Romans. So what you got to go do? You got to give it up and tell the truth. The Jews had God to fight for them, and therefore they could not be hurt because they followed the laws that he gave them. Y'all, in case y'all don't know, these heathens and studied us, man. The Most High will fight for us as long as we obedient. All right? As long as we obedient, the Most High fight for us, man. Y'all always remember that. As long as we are obedient. All right, the second Maccabees 9, and then we got chapter 10. We're going to close it on now. I just want to show y'all the atrocities that was done. You understand? Things that were poured out upon our people leading up to dedication. And a lot of these chapters get skipped when we break it down. You understand? But this year we was like, man, we need to go into all the histories in the Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? Basically give our people a history lesson over what happened. Or bring it up to speed. Maybe a few new people as well. You understand? But, you feel me? You just want to bring it on out. That way we can get all the history and get everything flowing so you can put it in your mind. Also, y'all, when y'all reading about the like spots in the Bible, lands and all that, look up biblical maps. Become familiar with the terrain. Become familiar with your land, the geography. You understand what's going on over there. You understand? A lot of us get the history together. A lot of us get into the prophecies and all that. But geography is a spot too. Geography is something that's very important. You understand? When you're dealing with nationhood, nationality. Like, what do you mean? Where are you in Israel? You in the north? You in the south? Sea of Galilee and Jordan River? You know what I'm saying? Are you under the impression that Jerusalem is in Telerad? Or are you under the impression that Jerusalem is up north? Or, you know, it's a lot of geography that comes with this thing too. You understand? That way you're gonna be reading places that y'all try to picture places that you ain't even at least looked at on a map. You understand? It helps with your understanding as well. So this right here is Second Maccabees chapter 9. Second Maccabees chapter 9. Y'all should see it right up here on the screen. I pray that right there is large enough for you. If y'all get some understanding thus far, go ahead and throw a 7 up in here. I'm gonna drink me a little water real quick. Throw a 7 up in here and we're gonna continue. Yeah, man, war against Hellenization, war against Greek culture. Greek culture is not a culture that was ordained by the Almighty. It's not something that, especially Israelites, you sons and daughters of slaves. It's nothing that you should be doing. We just read where they was trying to sell 1,000 of us, so a heathen go pay back his debt to the Romans. Right? That's one thing. The one thing that's consistent with Israel throughout our history is the in and out of slavery, servitude, taxation. Serafina, shalom, my sister. Shalom, my sister. I ain't see you been here, she bro. Ratuvi, you been on that geography, huh? Yeah, y'all can start getting them biblical maps and all that, man. You understand? Turn your study into, you know what I'm saying? Hang them up on the wall and all that. You know what I'm saying? Turn your little study into something, level up, like take your study to another level. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start posting all type of maps all on my walls in the house. I just need to see stuff. You know, I just need to see stuff. All right. I just was tripping off too the wilderness of Judea. That's where John the Baptist was baptized, and then now the Messiah went back that way. Beth Abara, that's another spot right there. House of the Fords. Ford is like a spot in the river that is low enough for you to either drive across or walk across, and that's where they was baptizing at. So I just connecting some of that the other day, but I'm saying that to say it's always some jewels you run into while you studying for something else. You run into some more jewels. You understand? The Bible's an endless treasure house of precepts, man. Feel me? And if you ever even studied any other type of philosophy, you'll really grow to appreciate the scriptures. Because nothing else that's preserved from the ancient world is this much in detail. You understand? It's straight up like it's so much history. It's so much like meticulous details when it comes to certain stuff, man. It's just like, wow, like you really appreciate it. Because a lot of these so-called believers out here today that believe in different doctrines or whatever, like they have the luxury of reinventing themselves. You feel me? Like if they'll lose a topic or lose something, you understand, they can just go hide for 3 years and come back out and reinvent themselves. Be like nothing happened. You understand? Because their belief's not based off nothing ancient. It's based off more like modern Luciferians. All right. This right here, 2 Maccabees chapter 9. 2 Maccabees chapter 9. All right. Verse 1. About that time, Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia, for he had entered the city called Persepolis and went about to rob the temple and to hold the city. Whereupon the multitude running to defend themselves with their weapons put them to flight. And so what happened, that Antiochus being put to flight of the inhabitants returned with shame. And when he came to Ecbatane, news was brought him of what had happened unto Nicanor and Timotheus. And swelling with anger, that's this heathen right here. Antiochus, let y'all look at him again. We got to keep flashing on. That's this heathen right here. And as you see, they got his reign on her too. Questions you asked about the dates, right? This cat reigned from 175 BC before the Messiah to 164 BC. Some people call BC before the Common Era. All right. Now see that? So you're talking about like 160 something years before the Mashiach. All right. So that's this heathen right here. This heathen right here. All right. All right. So let's get back to it just real quick. I just wanted to show that again. All right. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee. Therefore commanded he his chariot man to drive without ceasing and to dispatch the journey. The judgment of God now following him, we had spoken proudly in this sort, that he would come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of the Jews. You heard this heathen? Heard that? This heathen right here was very proud, man. Not only was he torturing us, you understand? Not only was he torturing us, doing all type of wicked, diabolical, you understand, unseen type stuff. He got in his mind like he's so mad he gonna start fat mouthing. Like I'm about to turn Jerusalem into a common burying place for these niggas. Huh? About that. Like with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar opened his mouth up proudly, and the Most High checked him and sent him to the field for 7 years, gave him the mind of an animal. Huh? Herod, you understand? Never corrected. He was speaking. They thought it was the voice of a God. He didn't get praise of God. The Most High chopped him down. Always give all esteem and glory back to the Most High. Don't take credit for nothing, man. Don't take credit for no thing. Verse 5. But Yahweh Almighty, the power of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. All praises. For as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him. Sore torments of the inner parts. Y'all see that? Folks, I put a plague on him that don't even got a cure. See that? And it was an inward plague. Most High gonna rot you out from inside out. You gonna hit them bowels. You hit them stomach regions. Huh? See, it ain't a game plan. When you hear your arms too short to box with the Almighty, this is what that means, man. Stop running your mouth. You understand? Especially running your mouth about, you know what I'm saying, someone or a group of people that's out here doing what thus saith the Most High. You'll be fighting against him. Getting all proud in your speech, right? It says right here, his inner parts, verse 6, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. Yeah, heathen, you were scalping my brothers, frying my brothers, putting them in cauldrons, dismembering my brothers, cutting out tongues. Yeah, you heathen. And didn't the mother and 7 sons, didn't the 7 sons tell her, you ain't gonna escape this. You're gonna be tormented with plagues. Well, here it is. Here it is. All right, here it is. And that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. Verse 7. Howbeit he nothing at all ceased from his bragging. This is a proud bastard here. Type that the Most High has to kill. He gotta put him down. All right. Howbeit he nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Yahudim, and commanding to haste the journey. Came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pain. This heathen got drugged by his chariot. Huh? And commanding to haste the journey, but it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot. So they're having a sore fall. All the members of his body were much pain. Now he pain in every member of his body, not just his bowels. And thus, he that a little afore thought he might command the ways of the sea, so proud was he beyond the condition of man. So remember, Antiochus Epiphanes' name mean God manifest. And weigh the high mountains in a balance was now cast on the ground and carrying a horse litter, showing forth unto all the manifest power of Yahweh, so that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. Y'all heard that? Worms start coming out of his body. Most High smote him with a plague, hit him in the bowels. Did y'all hear this? Hit him in the bowels. And then what ended up happening? Every member of his body became pain. Now the Most High got worms coming out of his body. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all see this? The same heathen that was tormenting our people. Same heathen that said we all should be one people. Same heathen that said if it's unlawful, illegal to be an Israelite. If we catch you with that, we're gonna put you down. And let you know, Zion, don't fear the words of a sinner. His glory is worms. Worms is coming out of his flesh now. Right? So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. And while he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away. The filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. This heathen, boy, you can smell this heathen. What you talking about? And understand the Most High gonna hit all our enemies, Zion. Ain't nothing to worry about. Ain't nothing to worry about, man. Never be in the spirit like the Most High God and forgot us. Straight up. This man stank so bad you could smell him from yesterday. What you talking about? And the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink. Boy, this heathen stank. Worms coming out of him. Bowels is dismembered. Every member of his body is sore pain. And you can smell him from yesterday. And he stank so bad. His men didn't even want to carry him. Stink was intolerable. Can you imagine how that smelled? Man. He therefore being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of Yahweh, his pain increasing every moment. When he had his own smell, you know you stank when you smell yourself. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, "It is meet to be subject unto God." that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself if he were the Most High. Most High done put it on this heathen so bad, he confessing now. He like subject of it. In other words, it is good to be in subjection to the Almighty. Don't get yourself up like the Most High can't do this without you. You better be thanking him. He's allowed you to continue in this truth. You better thank him that he's allowed you to, that he allowed the breath to return to your body. You better thank the Almighty. All right? A man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself as if he were the Almighty. This wicked person vowed also unto Yahweh, who now no more would have mercy upon him. See, there comes a time when you understand the Most High hand ain't reached out. And Tiger's epiphany went overboard. See? Now he want to vow to the Most High, who now no more would have mercy upon him, saying thus, that the holy city to the which he was going in haste to lay it even with the ground and to make it a common burying place, he was set at liberty. He like, look, I'm free in Jerusalem. And as touching the Jews, whom he had judged not worthy so much as to be buried, but to be cast out with their children to be devoured of the fowls and wild beasts, he will make them all equals to the citizens of Athens. Heathen, you can keep your Athens, your Athenian citizenship. So what? No? I'm about setting at liberty the Israelites and making them equal citizens in Athens. And the holy temple, which before he had spoiled, he would garnish with goodly gifts and restore all the holy vessels with many more. And out of his own revenue to free the charges belonging to the yea, and that also he will become a Jew himself and go through all the world that was inhabited and declare the power of your day. Like, you see, he like, man, I'm ready to serve the God of Israel, man. And Tiger's epiphanies, naming God manifest. Most High put it on this heathen. Had him stinking so bad you could smell him from yesterday, like I said earlier. Most High put it on this heathen. Never forget this. Never forget what's really going on out here. Your arms are too short to box with the Almighty. Never forget that. Never get in the spirit like you think, like, if it wasn't for you, the Most High wouldn't be able to do something. You too proud. You're going to get took down believing that. All right? This heathen want to convert now. 18. But for all this, his pains would not cease. Yeah. The just judgment of Yahweh was come upon him. Therefore, despairing of his health, he wrote unto the Jews the letter underwritten, containing the form of a supplication after this manner. Trip off this. Trip off this. Antiochus, king and governor to the good Jews, his citizens, wisheth much joy, health, and prosperity. Look at this heathen, boy. When the Most High put it on you, have a change of mind. I like the movie Equalizer Part 2. Denzel told that Arab in the beginning, there are two types of pain in this life. Pain that hurts and pain that alters. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. This was pain that altered. Of course, he hurt, but see what happened? His conscience became altered. His heart became altered. You did. It just was too late. This was too late. Don't let that be you. Holler at the Most High while he can be found. All right. 20. If ye and your children fare well and your affairs be to your contentment, I give very great thanks to the Most High, having my hope in heaven. Look at this either. As for me, I was weak, or else I would have remembered kindly your honor and goodwill returning out of Persia and being taken with a grievous disease. I thought it necessary to care for the common safety of all. Not distrusting mine health, but having great hope to escape this sickness. But considering that even my father, at what time he led an army into the high countries, appointed a successor, to the end that if anything fell out contrary to expectation, or if any tidings were brought that were grievous, they of the land, knowing to whom the state was left, might not be troubled. Again, considering how that the princes that are borderers and neighbors unto my kingdom wait for opportunities and expect what shall be the event, I have appointed my son Antiochus king, so not his son, right? Whom I often committed and commended unto many of you when I went up into the high provinces, to whom I have written as following. Therefore, I pray and request you. Hear this, heathen. Therefore, I pray and request you to remember the benefits that I have done unto you generally and in special, that every man will be still faithful to me and my son. For I am persuaded that he, understanding my mind, will favorably and graciously yield to your desires. Thus, the murderer and blasphemer, having suffered most grievously as he entreated other men, so died he a miserable death in a strange country in the mountains. And Philip, that was brought up with him, carried away his body, who also fearing the son of Antiochus went to Egypt to Ptolemaeus Philometor. All right. That's Second Maccabees chapter 9. We see even this same Antiochus Epiphany heathen. This heathen right here died a horrible death, inside out. Most High hollowed him out. Pain in all his members became beyond. I'm talking about smell was reprehensible. And nobody even carry him. Mind started snapping. He started looking, I want to get down with the God of heaven, man. I want to become. It was too late. Don't let that be you. Learn from that. Don't let that be you. All right. Don't get so proud to where you can't never humble down and hear the counsel of the Most High. All right. Now this right here is going into more examples on how we recover the temple. This is the last chapter for the day. All right. All right, that's right. Too little, too late. Now Maccabees and his company, Yahweh guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. Altars which the heathen had built in the open street, and also the chapels they pulled down. And having cleansed the temple, they made another altar. That's right. And having cleansed the temple, they made another altar, and striking stones, they took fire out of them and offered a sacrifice after 2 years, set forth incense and lights and showbread. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought Yahweh that they might come no more into such troubles. But if they sin any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered unto the blasphemous and barbarous nations. Feel me? Praise the Most High. The Most High, please don't let these jackals rule over us ever again. We pray you chasten us with your mercy, but don't let us fall into their hands. All right. Now, upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again, even the 5 and 20th day of the same month, which is Caslu. That's the same. That's basically what we read in First Maccabees 1:53 on down. Right? It was years earlier. You understand that they profaned the temple and set up the abomination of desolation. That very same day, years later, we won the temple back and rededicated it to the Most High. Right? Verse 6. Right? This feast for us, December the 7th, December 2nd through the 10th. But we getting together here in the STL at one of the machinist halls, December the 7th. You understand? So Noe Taylor is on here. Naya and them may be on here. If not, just email me. I get it out to you. All right. All right. And they kept the 8 days with gladness as in the Feast of the Tabernacles. Remembering that not long before they had held the Feast of the Tabernacles, when as they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts. You heard that? So that's right, because the Feast of Tabernacles is the 7th month. It starts the 15th day of the 7th month, and it goes all the way to the 22nd day of the 7th month. This right here is the 9th month, the 25th day of the 9th month. So a few months earlier, when we were banging with these Greeks, Judah Maccabee and them had to keep the Feast of Tabernacles on the run. You understand? They had to keep the feast while they were wandering in mountains and dens like animals. But they still were what? They still were obedient. Right? So Tabernacles is 8 days, dedication is 8 days as well. All right. Another name for tabernacle is temple. You see, our temple was what? Profane. Therefore, verse 7, therefore they bear branches and fir boughs and palms also, and psalms unto him that had given them good success in cleansing his place. Right? They ordained also by a common statute and decree that every year those days should be kept of the whole nation of the Jews. Right? You Israelite, you supposed to be, you understand, observing this thing, man, because the Most High delivered us and allowed us, you understand, to regain the temple, to dedicate it back to him. You understand? And like 165 years later, the Messiah was born, and then you got to throw another, what? Whenever he started teaching on top of that, it did. So you talking roughly like 200 years, man. Had not these brothers stood up like Judah Maccabee and his brothers and them, and his father Mattathias and his brother, had they not stood up, man, you understand, the Messiah would have never had a temple teaching. You understand? Because that temple was profaned by the Greeks, bringing in their God, their formal worship, their rituals, their ceremonies. They were banging holes in the secret place. They were doing all type of stuff, man. Sacrificing swine flesh. Bastard, the one king keeping his birthday every month. They was peeling our skins, frying our flesh, dismembering us, cutting out our tongues. You understand? Like, it's a lot of stuff that was going on, man, to where for a brother to be full-fledged to that Greek spirit, and sister to be full-fledged to that Greek spirit in these late hours, man, you are going beyond off. But that spirit ain't got nothing to do with the Almighty. Nothing. All right? And this was the end of Antiochus called Epiphanes. All right? And then when you get into it, it's going to go into his son, you dig? But we'll get into more of them right there. I just want to go into how Antiochus Epiphany and how the brothers regained the temple and all that, right? I'm going to go back to First Maccabees 1 and read the rest of it, rest of chapter 4. Then we going to, you know what I'm saying, pray on out. So I want to show y'all that right there. You understand? A lot of the atrocities that was happening. You understand? And how we got a lot of people, man. We got a lot of people that still identify with this Greek way of life, and you ain't realizing you commit treason, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a lot of people that be into you know what I'm saying, Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that, man. Y'all actually committing treason against your not only your God, man, but the memory of your ancestors. Like, you got brothers that wouldn't even fake like they was eating swine. You niggas kill each other over swine, man. Like, when we gonna get this together? When we gonna do what thus saith the Most High? And when we gonna be revolutionaries in spirit and stand up and do what the Most High command us to do, no matter what's on the table? When we gonna do that? A lot of us get scared. I'm going back to First Maccabees 1 and 54. We're gonna close it out with that. All right. First Maccabees 1 and 54. All right. If y'all get some understanding, throw us a 7 up in the chat, y'all. Throw us a 7 up in the chat. This is a war. All right, and this is a war against Hellenization. All right, war against Greek culture, Greek life, Greek language. You understand? Greek religion, that Greek way of thinking. See, we got brothers that wouldn't even sell out. What you mean? I'll become the friend of the king and be honored in advance, man. I'm ready to die for the Lord of Most High. What you mean? What you mean? Like, you understand? Like, we more than ready to die for the laws of our God. They cut his tongue off, dismembered him, and then fried the brother. The other brother, they peeled his scalp and then asked him if he wanted to eat. Brothers like, lo. And we gonna die, man. You understand? Before we go against the Most High. That's the mindset. That's where your faith need to be at also. You understand? Come hell or high water. I ain't going against the Almighty. I don't care what y'all talking about. Yeah, and that's what we need to be. Right now, ooh, it looks like it hurts. Ooh, it looks like it burns. Ooh. Nah, man. You dig? You ain't gonna be able to defeat this heathen scared of him. Because he coming to break your will. He coming to break your desire. He coming to really see if you really down with the Most High. Or you just fat mouth. Facebook make everybody tough these days. Everybody's opinionated. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody on Facebook talking. You understand? Till the real come out. David Anthony, Fat Dave, Shalom, Mark. Shalom, Mark. Where you at? All right. First Maccabees 1 and 54. We're gonna close on out. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu in 140 and 50th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built idol altars throughout the cities of Yahweh on every side. They basically what they did was turn the temple of the Most High into the temple of Jupiter Olympus. We read that in 2nd Maccabees 6. That's what happened. You understand? And they just didn't rename the temple of the Most High Jupiter in name only. It was illegal for us to keep Shabbat, feast days, circumcise anybody found with the book of the law. They tore it into pieces and they killed them. You understand? And then they brought in their form of worship, their idolatry, their swine sacrifice. You understand? Their harlotry. You understand? They brought in, they forced their way of living upon us. So for any brothers and sisters that are still into the Greek ideology and culture, look, the beautiful thing about the God of the Bible is you can repent. You can turn away from that today. You understand? But as we see, these heathens right here do not mean us any good. All right? It was illegal, man. All right, so trip off this. 55. And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces or torn in pieces the books of the law, the Torah, which they found, they burnt them with fire. See that? And whosoever was found any book of the Testament, Torah, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. See? And these days are coming back. Nah, Fat Dave, I ain't in the Northern Kingdom, Mark. I'm in Middle Earth. You understand? But these days are coming back. You understand? These days are coming right back around to where we're going to have to be strong in our resolve and stand up. Do what thus saith the Almighty, period, man. Hell or high water. You understand? That's how we got to be, right? Bigger the faith, bigger the miracles. But even if you got to lay it down like his son, all right, so what? So what? No matter what it is, once you got in your mind, locked in your mind that you're fully resolved, you understand? Keep the faith no matter what happens. You understand? That's the only mindset that you can have to fight against Greek tyranny or somebody trying to force a Hellenistic lifestyle on you, which means a Greek lifestyle. But we see what happened when the Greeks took over. This is what they forced on. You found what the Bible put to death. Found what the Bible turned in pieces and burned it. See that happened in this hour. All right. 58. Thus did they by their authority unto who? The Israelites every month to as many as were found in the cities. Huh? So, you know, and it's crazy because we spend so much time staying separate as a nation. We ain't even realize these times are upon us. And we gonna have to, if we not part of their system, we're gonna have our own network going on, man. Get out here and network with your brothers and sisters, man. Start by talking to them about the scripture. You know, maybe it's a few things y'all disagree about, but there's other things, there's resources, there's people they may know, it's certain things that you understand that we gonna need. This war ain't gonna be here today and over tomorrow. Right? And if you compare yourself amongst yourselves, you're not wise. I tell you that in Corinthians, man. Like how you compare yourself amongst yourselves. It's just us. We the only ones swinging the swords like that. Stop it, man. Stop it. How when you ain't never tested or you scared to test it? All right. You gonna have to look. You gonna know what it means real quick to love your brothers and sisters. The most I gonna see to it. I can't wait. Actually, if I can. I gotta show patience, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Most High Most High allowing this heathen to get us out of his pocket, right? And all we got is the Most High. You understand? And his people. Not to be enough of the funnies. No Facebook, no Instagram, no nothing. The day when I'm talking about the whole grid get fried. Woo! Oh, happy day. That'd be beautiful. Now we gonna see who really down. And the playing field get level. What you say, Bob? Man, I need you, man. All right. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Honor, humility, STL. Shalom, Jabez. Anybody want my email? It's honor and humility STL. It's this YouTube channel you listening to at gmail.com. Honor and humility STL at gmail.com. All right, 59. Now the 5 and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. I hear that? They put an altar on top of the altar of Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh altar. We used to sacrifice it, right? Out in the courtyard, the altar of burnt offering. They put their own altar on top of God's altar, right? Direct hit, all right? At the which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks. And they rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing like Eleazar. You see that? Like the mother and 7 sons. It says many, so then we went and showed an example. Wherefore, wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. I'm going to go to the end of chapter 4. That's where I really wanted to go for y'all. I read the rest of that chapter 3. I'm in chapter 1. Let me get this chapter. I can read chapter 2. That's what I'm going to do. Since this is the problem. Let me go to chapter 4 right here. Bow. Get on down to the end of it. Y'all forgive your brother. All right, this is where we at right here. 52, I believe it is. Click that. All right, so this is where we at. All right. Scrolling down. First Maccabees 4. I just want to go show that same thing about the dedication. All right. All right, here it is right there. Here it is right here. All right, verse 42. First Maccabees 4 and 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and buried out the defiled stones into an unclean place. When as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it best to pull it down. The altar of burnt offering is where the sacrifices go down at. Understand? Righteous sacrifice is supposed to be. That should be a reproach to them because the heathen had defiled it before they pulled it down and laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place till there come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Right? I'm gonna jump down. All right. Okay, right here, 47. Then they took whole stones according to the law and built a new altar according to the former. This feast is called the Feast of the Dedication of the Altar. All right, and made up the sanctuary, the holy place, and the things that were within the temple and hollowed the courts. Okay, means sanctified and cleansed them. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick, that's the menorah, and the altar of burnt offerings and of incense and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense. All right, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted that they might give light in the temple. They burn incense on the altar of incense. That's at the time of prayer. You can read that in Luke 1. And also Revelation chapter 8. There's an angel in the heavens at the time of prayer that offer prayers with incense, just like we do here on earth. All right. Then upon the altar they burn incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted that they might get light in the temple. What we haven't read yet is there was only enough oil for one day and it lasted for 8 days. That's a Jewish myth. All right, or we only light one candle, but we'll like one candle every day. No, you light all the candles, right? Don't say that it was lighting one candle. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table and spread out the veils and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now, the 5 and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated. Songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold. And we trying to put Christmas lights around your house. We're trying to compromise, man. Front door. And with shields and the gates, and that shield is not a hexagram, right? And the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, but that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days from the 25th day of the month Caslu, mirth and gladness. So, you know what I'm saying? This will be a joyous occasion, man. It'll be a joyous occasion. So all praise to the Most High. At that time also they built up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. So they never forgot they were at war. Even though we'll be celebrating, don't lose focus, man. Don't lose focus. A lot of our feast days got to do with us being delivered from a catastrophe, from a calamity. Understand? Feast of dedication, delivered. Purim, delivered. The Feast of Nicanor, when we toasted the destruction of Nicanor, delivered. Passover, delivered. Man, there's so many. It's just so many. A lot of it's central around. The theme is us being delivered. Even when you get into the fall feast about the trumpets blowing, that's us being gathered or delivered. Salvation from our enemies. You understand? So it's so much. It's so much that got to do. It's so much of a spiritual connection when you're dealing with the feast of the Most High and how it's relevant to the slaves of the diaspora, the Hebrews of the diaspora. Heard scattered abroad, not just in America, but scattered abroad. It's mighty funny how one of the major things for Israel is our in and out of slavery. That's funny. And how a lot of our feasts got to do with us being delivered from our enemies. You see that? Whether it didn't happen already or whether it's going to be trumpets blowing in the future. Right? That you could teach your children, man. So if they ask you, well, why did we do it? I thought you never asked. Let's go ahead and pull up this lesson and get it in. Right? But you wouldn't be able to explain to your children why you do Christmas, biblically speaking. You wouldn't be able to do it. Or Easter, or Thanksgiving, or 4th of July, or New Year's 10 days into the winter, or any of it. A lot of our people know that. So we want to give all praise to the Most High. They never forgot there was at war. You see that? Strong towers round about it, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. And they set there at garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethshura to preserve it. The people might have a defense against Adom. Adom is Edom. You see who they was fighting against, but that's a whole nother topic as well. So I wanted to go ahead and go into that for y'all. Y'all got any questions before we close out? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and stop this real quick. See if y'all got any questions before we close out. Big all praise to the Most High. Y'all got any questions before we close on out? Little joke in the back. Wailing. If y'all ain't got no questions, then we just gonna pray on out. All praise to the Most High. Hating heathens must be watching because only they dislike the Apocrypha. Yeah, man. There's a lot of heathens. Yeah, no doubt. Let's get them likes up. Yeah, y'all hit like, man. Y'all hit like. Don't be hating. Don't be hating. Y'all hit like. Bang, bang. Nicanor, go to 2nd Maccabees chapter 15 and chapter 16. You're going to see that the destruction of Nicanor that we supposed to celebrate is actually the day before Purim. Day before Purim. These were events that happened after Purim actually happened. But the 13th for Adar, 14th, 15th for Adar, we're supposed to keep them all back to back. Purim is the 14th and 15th. The 13th is the destruction of Nicanor. That's 2nd Maccabees chapter 15 and chapter 16. You're gonna see what happened to old Nicanor, how his hands was cut off, and tongue cut out, head cut. Yeah. Because he was blaspheming. So that's where you can find it at. Second Maccabees, chapter 14, or chapter 15, chapter 16. The destruction of Nicanor. Out the mud, say, boy, hey, it's what it is. The mother and seven sons in Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter. My sister, Second Maccabees, chapter 7. That's the mother and 7 sons. Out the mud, say, boy, he ain't having no mercy. Second Mac 7. All these events leading up to the dedication and brothers standing up, banging against Greek oppression. Yeah, so. All right. Struggle in my walk daily. I sin daily, but I don't do folly daily. I gave up fairly easily. Yeah, I'll just bang, man. Deal with the sin one at a time. Yeah, you know when you're gonna be tempted again, you gotta defeat it, man. Print Blake, defeat it. You got the power to do it. We just gotta stop thinking so low of ourselves. Stop vibrating low. You got the power to defeat whatever. Ain't nothing you can't defeat. You know what I'm saying? A righteous man falleth 7 times, but he get back up. Right? You either gonna stay down, you gonna get up and keep banging. You in it to win it or what? You understand? Get your fasting on, brother. Start fasting more, praying more. It's all there, man. We got weapons. It's time for us to activate what's lying dormant within us. Out the mud say they gonna get the Sabbath though. I hear you, out. You know what I'm saying? Keep banging, out. It's all good. Yes, sorry, y'all. Second Maccabees, 7 chapters, the mother and 7 sons. Find Nicanor in Second Maccabees 15 and 16. All right. All right, so y'all ain't got no questions, man. I guess we're gonna go. Yeah, fasting is very powerful. I love it. Love it. What's up with that 40 though? What's up with that 40? You know, y'all know we're going to get a 40. We're going to get a 40 crack. Yeah. That's right, Jabez. All praises. Nice. We're gonna close on. I'm gonna pick a song. I'm gonna pick a closing song. Y'all face Jerusalem real quick. Let's go ahead and get this on off. You know, with this thing we do, you understand, man, time flies so fast. You be just edifying and in the spirit, man. It be going. You dig? Look up, but 4 hours and went by. You be like, boy, dang. All right, so let's do Psalm the 91st chapter. Psalm 91. All right, y'all face Jerusalem. I'm face Jerusalem. Done. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. All right, Psalm 91. Psalm 91 with the Most High's permission. He that dwelleth in the secret place of Yod-Heh shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yod-Heh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou was made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Long life will I satisfy him. My salvation. Allah, Lord Yah. Say la. Yahoo. All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. Most High. All right. Let me check to make sure everybody else good. I want to say shalom to the family. Right on for all y'all prayers and support, man. All praise to the Most High. Definitely. He said, I heard somebody died just trying to do the 40, man. Scared out? Scared? Oh, man. The big 40. 40 days, I don't know. I know, man. Just putting it out there. No, don't hurt yourself. Go as you know what I'm saying, as far as you can go. Yeah, that's all it is. But hey, don't get nervous. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared, man. Yeah, the Most High got you. The Most High is for you, and can't nothing or no one stand against you. Yeah, so all praise to the Most High. I want to create and possess of all things. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. About to do some more studying or whatever. Reflect a little taste. Understand? Get her done. Again, man, this this War Ready Wednesdays is bringing out, it's revealing a lot about certain brothers' characters. Period. Whether you talking about camp or whether you talking about assembly, like it's mighty funny how everybody opinionated on the book, running their mouth. You understand? When it come down to defending what it is you believe, a lot of people are ducking. Both sides of the aisle, man. I can't even just say it's the camps ducking. It's a lot of assembly bros ducking too. You understand? Ducking. Out here making all type of sloppy decisions and judgments, man. You like, man, look, we got to get this together. All right. So, y'all willing next weekend, man. I mean, next week, we're going to get her done. I know my Antoine Ford, one, like, let's get it. No, he with it. I seen somebody put something in Hebrew up in there. Let me see. I just seen some Hebrew. If I'm mistaken. Yeah, Print Blake said, I got faith. That's right, I just seen some Hebrew, and I guess I did. Check out. All right, yeah, go ahead and post that. That's what's up. I know questions. I'll be looking forward to the battles too. It'd be interesting to see how everybody, represent themselves. I'm trying to do one on reincarnation. Like I tried to do one last week. Somebody that believes in the reincarnation aspect of the scriptures. I can definitely find somebody that don't. That's easy. I definitely find somebody that don't, that believes in not reincarnation, but resurrection. You know what I'm saying? Resurrection. That's like a Mashiach. Right, y'all. So I'm gonna get up out of here. May the Most High be with you. May He increase you. May He bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you. Y'all brothers and ancestors stay focused during this dark time of the year, and don't let the light go out, man. Bang to the casket drop, man. Just like these brothers did. In spirit, they look in spirit and in the physical, they bang. You dig? You ain't out here physically banging, but in spirit, man, wage war against the forces of darkness, man. Should nobody be comfortable around us celebrating none of that wicked. And your loved ones, none of them. Here he come. Yeah, here I come. You understand? When y'all already talk about that Bible, though. Yeah. Yeah, that's just what it is. Other than that, you're going to get bored. You need something to do. Don't get bored. Don't get bored in this truth, man. You understand? Always be creative. You sisters, too. We get creative, man. You know what I'm saying? Get onto the fabric store and start sewing stuff and putting stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Start doing little crafts and, there's all type of stuff you can do in this truth, man. Make music, you can make clothes, you can do all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Websites, sell stuff, do it, just all type of stuff you can do. Make it happen. Lila told me good night. Lila told, boy, La Yala Tawab without the without the vibes. La Yala Tawab. I'm saying Lila told, make it easy. A Key Bay, yeah, Key Bay, whatever. You just not getting up in her. I hate your shit, bro. But it'll be reloaded shortly, so y'all can go check it out. All right, so until the next time, family, one love. All praise to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His beloved Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. May His anointed
king and son. May his anointed son live forever and reign forever in the minds of the faithful elect. Travel back up, SEL Israelite. Yahoo.